Well, that was less graceful than I would have liked, but we sort of transitioned in there. It didn't fade as much as I wanted it to.
Also, that was me
What?
playing a flute.
Yes, wasn't that beautiful? That
Yeah,
was
thank you.
Stig playing the flute for us. How sweet and considerate. So talented. So brave.
Very, very.
Well, I would like to say welcome everybody. Yes, we will still be streaming tomorrow night. It's going to be Back to the Future, which I actually had planned for last week, except last week it was Veterans Day on Thursday, so it made sense to do war and military movies, nostalgia, my top 10.
Oh,
And since we
did
had
I did I tell you I bought a DeLorean?
I feel like I don't get this joke. No.
I did. I intend to drive it from time to time.
Why? That shouldn't be that funny. Why is that so funny? I don't understand it. I don't understand.
Maybe it's the timing.
It could be the timing. Timing is everything. And now I just
Yep.
got that joke as well because the DeLorean.
Yeah.
See, I'm dumb.
Yeah, the joke is dated now.
My God, stop it! You're gonna make me feel stupid. I got that one though. Ha! I got that one. But yes, so still planning on covering Back to the Future tomorrow. I was gonna do it last week, and for any of you who know what day Back to the Future happens on, you're gonna get that reference. But the vet in me, it was just something near and dear to my heart to do the war and military top 10 films. So you can definitely go check that out if you like. After this one, of course. And then tomorrow, we will be streaming Back to the Future. And maybe I can come back to right now and redo this intro properly. All right, listen here. Sundials are extremely accurate until the sun goes down. Thank you. Thank you.
Not very useful in Norway during winter. It will only run
Nor
for like
Alaska.
6 hours a day.
It's all good though. It's all good. Let's see who's here. Subhuman84, how are you? Hi. Bastard, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Crazy Eyed Jedi.
It's not bastard. It's bastard.
Bested. I'll work on it. I'm not Norwegian.
It's from Game of Thrones.
I'm not a Game of Thrones fan. I could do Private Pile. I can do some other bastards, but I can't do GOT bastard. I've got a husband that can verify. I didn't watch nor read Game of Thrones, and I feel so bad for all of you that did. I really do. I hope you get your books. Plural.
My hopes are still at 100%. I will never waver, for I am a Viking.
Okay. Even when he's dead?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you know what? There you go. You heard it from Stig, his own lips. By the way, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing quite well. Having a splendid day.
Wonderful.
Usually I have good days. So, yeah. Nothing to complain about except the topic we will cover later on.
Yes, absolutely. And we will get into that. So, as I promised, my nostalgia streams are going to stay strictly they'll say strictly stuff that I love. It's not going to be anything. If I don't want to see it, I'm not going to force you to see it on a nostalgia stream. You know what I mean? That makes less sense than, I don't know, a drain that is above sea level. I have no idea what I'm saying anymore. But, oh, Subhuman, you're in for a treat. Finish it fast.
Yeah, and don't watch the damn TV show.
Yeah, I'll watch it for you. Just hang in there.
It looks bad.
So, we will actually, since we've sort of segued into that is actually our, what is that thing called? Not bookmark. I'm such a dork. Thumbnail. That's what that thing's called. So the thumbnail is actually the first book of The Wheel of Time, which, for anybody who doesn't know, it's called The Eye of the World. Now, you can You can say what you want about art being subjective. That's one of my least favorite things to hear ever. When people are like, "Oh, well, it's allowed because like art is subjective. They're reading into it what what they see or what they feel." And I really just want to slap people when they say that, because yes, art is subjective to a point, but you can't look at a sunrise and say that it's nighttime. Like, there are certain
Exactly.
objective facts that you have to yield to. I'm not going to look at a canvas smothered in poo and be like, "Oh yeah, that's absolutely gorgeous. That's brilliant. I love it." Like, no. What's the
Yeah.
matter with you? Go away.
Basically, some artwork is just shit.
Yes. Exactly. Objectively.
Yeah.
So, you just got to live with it. And since we are on this wonderful topic of book covers, because Stig, I'm sure you agree with me on this one. Like, we talked about it in a thread on Twitter. Book covers used to be art. Like, you
Yeah.
were you were sought after for your book cover art. It used to be a thing, and they used to do page art as well.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it wasn't just the book covers. You wouldn't get just front, back, and spine. You would get page art, and it was just truly, truly beautiful. And with the Wheel of Time's demise,
You know
I don't
what?
know.
When you're reading a book, right?
Hmm.
The absolute first impressions you have of a book is the cover.
Absolutely.
If the cover doesn't even show you anything about the book, what it's about, most likely you're probably not going to pick it up unless it's from a famous author.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, Speaking of famous authors, and with the Wheel of Time about to be completely, I don't, you can't even call this Jordan's Wheel of Time. Based on everything I have read and seen that Amazon is going to be doing with this series, it is not Jordan's or even Sanderson's Wheel of Time.
Brandon
So,
Sanderson actually gave us a little warning. He said the ending to
yeah,
the season would be very controversial among the
very
fans.
controversial. And there are people out there bragging about how the show doesn't stay faithful to the source material.
No.
I don't know how that's a possibility. Like, why would you brag about such a thing? Look at this beautiful, look at this. When you look at this, all right, in the chat. So, Subhuman, you all just started reading, whoever just started reading these books, or if you haven't picked it up, when you look at this cover, what genre? Put a 1 if you think it's sci-fi, and put a 2 if you think it's fantasy. Put a 3 if you think it's romance. Tell me what of those major genres you think this book cover falls under. Is it sci-fi? Is it fantasy? Is it romance? Tell me what you think this is. 1, 2, 3. 1.5. Father Christopher Miller, why are you being difficult? Like, you're a priest. Stop it. You're supposed to be the saintly one, or at least as close to it as we can possibly get in this chat. But yes, so while I see a lot of 2s dropping in there, I love to see it. God dang it, Father Christopher Miller
He
again.
did it again like
He
it was
did
nothing.
it again. But this, I don't think you can argue the fact, Stig, this is clearly a fantasy cover.
Yeah.
You think, like, it's got your swords, it's got your wizard staff, it's got your horses. You have, a bat flying at night with a full moon. One of the horses, the black horse, is reared up, and he's sitting higher than she is. You're like, what is all of this? What is going on?
Well,
Like,
technically, you know what? It says on the cover at the bottom that it's pretty much that it's fantasy.
shh. Nobody read that line yet. We're just looking at the picture. Like,
I
if you
was
saw
thinking
this
of something else entirely. Don't pay attention to me, Jack.
if you saw this from across the bookstore, right? You're not gonna be able to read that little blurb at the bottom. You're
No.
going to be pulled in by the cover art. That's why it
Yeah.
exists. This is your chance to make a first impression on your reader. And with this, you can tell them what your story is about. You can pull scene. I miss this so much, Stig, don't you? Like when they would just pull scenes right out of the book.
Yeah.
Put
Also,
it there for you.
there's a mistake on the cover because that guy was not wearing armor in the books.
Yeah. Well,
Other than that, it's a
I
scene
can.
from the book.
It
It's
is.
it's
It's a
when
scene
they
from.
it's when they start their journey.
Mm-hmm. And
And
you notice how, if you guys didn't pick up, like, yes, she's in the front, but she's not like dominating the entire cover art. You're like, okay, so clearly this woman is somewhat important and she's looking for something. Like they're going somewhere to look for something or someone. And okay, maybe she feels she needs a bodyguard. Maybe that's why, I'm trying to pretend I've not read these books. So,
yeah,
Stig, we
totally
got to
not a
pretend
bodyguard.
we
Yeah.
totally not a bodyguard. Um
Something else entirely.
we got like we just have to it's hard to guess when you've read the books. Like pretend you haven't read it. So, if you not reading it, what would you think she is and what is he and what about the writer in the background? That's in What is that? Is that a cloak? Is that a cape? What could that be? Why is he there?
Yeah. This is probably one of my favorite books of all time. This one hooked me big time.
Mm-hmm.
This and a couple of others we're about to show later on, but I've read this series 3 or 4 times. It's if someone has gotten close to Tolkien, Robert Jordan is it.
Yes, I would wholeheartedly agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The vividness that
I will
Go ahead.
argue that if George Martin finishes his series and he finishes it well, then he will be up there too. But it's okay if you disagree.
That's fine. Like I said, I have blurbs and I have snippets of episodes from when my husband would watch.
Oh, ignore the show.
Yeah, no. Like
Yeah,
I would read stuff, like he would show me snippets, and of course I've heard the fandom, of course, talk about it. You guys, Gary, as like, critical drinker. That poor man, oh my gosh. I think it might have he and Mahler, I think, got decimated to the
I
barest of their
laughed.
souls.
I laughed when George Martin started promoting a video game he had written.
I
I'm like,
know.
so that's what you've been up to.
Like, oh, is this what we're doing now? We're done with trains. We're on to video games.
Yep.
Trains, planes, and video games. I
Yep.
hope people got that reference.
I
But
did.
looking at this cover, so we've had a few people chime in here as well. They've said it's a mage and a warrior. Redneck Gringo, you're not supposed to know his name, but now that I look at it, he kind of does. I didn't notice
Also,
that.
this is the original cover, mind you.
Yes, this is the original cover, and it's beautifully done. So I think we had a unanimous 2 for fantasy. Now, please keep those in
Well,
mind.
you know what? Father Miller said 1.5. I'm going to agree with him a little bit because there is an element of sci-fi in it. And when they talk about how the world used to be way, way back, because they had a lot of technology back then before it
Stig,
became a
what are you doing
fantasy
to me?
world.
What are you doing to me?
Contradicting you, I guess.
But we're supposed to be a hive mind. That's what everybody says about all of us. We all think the same. We have no
Yeah.
differences. Stop
Yeah,
blowing holes in their stories. You're gonna make them mad. I'm just kidding. No,
Yeah.
you are correct. But I I don't know. Like, I don't think referencing. I guess there's a difference between like referencing what has come before and actually like living through it. So there's actually a series. We can talk about this in a little bit. It's called the Green Rider series. And I used to love it. All right, Stig. So bear with me here. So basically, she lives in this. You have this Kerrigan is the main character. You've got kings, you've got queens, you've got kingdoms, you've got political intrigue, you have assassination attempts, you have horses, you have old school messengers like on horse. She is a horseback. She becomes a messenger, but she is supernaturally called, right? The first 3 books just had me hooked, and she should have ended it after it should have ended after 3 books, but the author has kept going. Now imagine going through, I believe it's 5 books of pure fantasy, and then in the 6th book she turns it into a steampunk novel.
You know what? That kind of happened with Terry Brooks as well, when he
If you
started
want
using
to,
the flying ships and all.
yeah, if you want to use steampunk, like if you want to write a steampunk series, just write a steampunk series, especially if you're Terry Brooks. Like, people will follow your work. I promise. Like, we will come to you. Build it. We will come. And it was so, so, so good up until that point, because it just ripped you out of the story. It didn't have the ambiance, it didn't have the setting, it didn't have the care, it didn't have, like, it really felt, because essentially when you got to the end of that book, it meant nothing.
Yeah,
It literally meant nothing, because it was time travel. On top of it being steampunk, they threw in time travel.
Oh, I hate time travel, except when it's in Back to the Future or Terminator.
I was gonna say, like, Back to the Future and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, like Bill and Ted Adventures, I think are the 2 places where it hasn't completely destroyed me. Even Time Machine, I'm just like, well, this doesn't make sense, or like, what this, because there's rules. Like, it's you can't go back in time to stop something from happening, because then you will never know that you have to go back in time to stop that thing, because it never happened. So then you don't stop it, so then it happens again. See what I mean?
Yeah. And they introduced it technically to Star Wars as well.
Yeah, this is, we don't bring up the DSW. Like, that is on a crash course off of a cliff into a flaming pit of lava. And may it forever rot down there.
It needs to be taken to Mount Doom.
Yes, it does. Redneck Gringa! I'm so glad somebody else has heard of Green Rider, because I bring it up a lot, and a lot of people have never heard of it. But I can't,
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I can't in good conscience recommend it past book 4. Like, even book 4 is a bit of a stretch for me. Like, book 1 through 3, fantastic. Redneck Gringa, I think, since you've read the first 2, I think you can agree they're both really good. But beyond book 4, it becomes too convoluted. She tried to do too much. She took a story that was begging for a succinct and beautiful conclusion, and she complicated the ever-loving bejesus out of it. Because why not? Just squeeze that turnip.
I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How many fantasy books or authors have you given a chance due to them having a great book cover?
Oh God, so many. Green Rider is one of them, actually. Oh God, I'm trying to think. I have given. So for me, I have friends who are writers. I'm really trying to write as well, and they all make it look so easy. And I don't know how they do. Like, I'm not saying that writing is super hard. I'm saying writing well is really difficult, because I put together like a chapter and I was like, guys, what do you think? And I don't think a word of it wasn't covered in like red pen and yellow highlight. It was brutal when I got it back. I was like, oh, right, cool. Plot holes galore. Fantastic. And it's just one chapter. I haven't even gotten past it. But it's a learning and growing experience. I'm excited for it. I'm still trying to convince my friend to self-publish, because she's pretty freaking awesome. I'm not going to lie. But for me, if I see the front chapter, like if I saw this book cover, I would walk up to it and I would flip it to the back cover. That's how I know that this book has got my attention. It can get my interest based off of what's on the back cover, or if it's a hardcover, it'll be the sleeve on the inside, however it is. And then what I do. Oh, go
I
ahead.
got this book in the 90s because my dad had bought me a Terry Brooks book because I was reading the Lord of the Rings and a lot of Conan stuff, and I was looking for something new, and I got
Yeah.
the Elf Stones of Shanara for my birthday, and I got it's probably the best book in the series, and
Oh,
I
I'd
got
have to
so
agree.
hooked, and I was like telling him, next time we're at the bookstore, maybe pick up another one, and
Yes.
he ran out of Terry Brooks books basically, and then he brought that one, and I'm like, I've never heard of this, but it looks awesome. So I
Yep.
started reading that one, and I'm like, shit, need more now.
More. Give me more. I need more.
Yeah.
This is a 14. For anybody who's curious, the Wheel of Time books is a 14 brick series.
Yeah.
Like, there are 14. They're not, but they are bricks. Like, they are. You will have plenty of stuff to read. Like, you will be.
Yeah.
Your time will be filled.
Also,
you can definitely tell. Go ahead.
Some of the middle books are very slow, and they seem to be filled with useless stuff, or rather pointless stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
very detailed.
It pays off in the end.
It does pay off in the end.
So
the payoff
they're not
is
pointless.
really worth it.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god, I'm so glad Shinara got you into reading books. Like, that's one of my things. So I'm not going to completely trash or badmouth Harry Potter. I loved Harry Potter. Like, I read it. I loved it. I haven't reread it, if that makes sense. So something about books, like, I can't tell you how many times I've reread Lord of the Rings. At least twice a year, I reread Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and Silmarillion at least once a year. Robert Jordan, oh my god, he's probably going to be a twice a year thing. Like, just like I base a lot of my subjective opinions about movies on their rewatchability for me, it's the same thing with books. And this is a story that I can reread again and again. But yeah, this cover, it grabs you. And I think, like I said, it was 1 for sci-fi, it was 2 for fantasy, and it was 3 for romance. So keep those in mind, guys. Because here is an updated cover of this book.
Yeah. That there is the new cover.
This is the new cover.
Does this make you want to read it? You know what it looks like? You know what it looks like?
Is it sci-fi? Is it fantasy? Or is it romance? You tell me.
You know what it looks like? It looks like a cheap re-release of Treasure Island.
It kind of does, but Stig, you're not supposed to stop. Stop it. Hush.
Oh, yeah.
Don't give them ideas. You can't sway the opinion of the jury, right? We don't do that. 4 unknown. Eric K coming in with we got 3s. We see the 3s. Okay. Yeah. So this is that same book cover. This is the same book cover. It's the same book. Sorry, same book. Same book. Same book.
Yep.
Look at that. There's a reason this was the thumbnail. Look at this. Look at this. You tell me which book you're picking up off the shelf. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the stuff in the background, it looks like, it's burning.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no fire on any boats.
No.
In that book.
And then someone's like, well, maybe that's supposed to be like a tree and cloud. And they're like, oh, well, maybe it's an industrial pipe and clouds. And I'm like, so then why not bring it into focus? Like, you can't tell what it is. You have it doesn't. Looks terrible. That's what it looks like.
You know what? Eric. The picture plus the title, Eye of the World.
Yep.
It's like it's a reference to a spyglass.
Uh-huh. You would think this is a pirate book or a sailor book.
Yeah.
It's the tower. Yes. Okay. Redneck. But you haven't read the book. Remember, you have to come from a place of ignorance. If this is the cover that you are seeing, what genre do you think you're about to land in? Because fantasy does not come to mind. Like, at least not sword and sorcery. Maybe like pirates. for sure.
Yeah.
But
Miss Martin Muses says, waiting for the heaving bosomed lady. We all do.
Miss Martin. Oh, no, but yeah, it's I think it's pretty safe to say that there's no contest between
Yeah.
these two covers, because
And
when I see this, whoop, yep, we're going to back up. Hold on. See, I'm going to boomer the crap out of this. Hang on. Because when you look at this other cover, you want to be pulled, like, you're in a scene in the world, you're being pulled in, and it's beautifully done. I mean, this is
yeah.
gorgeous work. It was clearly a lot of time was put into this. And I don't know about you, I can't tell. Is this supposed to be like, who is that? Is that supposed to be Rand?
Yeah, the hair color is even wrong.
Yeah,
Because
Rand.
Rand climbs the mast on the riverboat, and
Yeah, but
basically
they don't look.
somersaults down, right?
Yeah, but they don't. Okay, in my mind, that is not what I saw. Like, I'm not even
No?
kidding. That's not at all what I saw when I read that part of the book. That was not in my head when I read the book. And I'm going to find it here in just a second. But do you guys see what we're kind of so this is the theme for the stream tonight. We are basically going to be looking at what fantasy covers used to be and what they have been basically, like,
Yeah.
degraded down to.
We also have a couple that basically shows what was the norm back in the day, which back then I never thought that would go away because it worked.
No, and so here I'll put this one up because this is actually the tweet. This is the post that sort of started this whole conversation, and then Stig and I were like, we really do need to do a stream covering this, and so
Covering it. Bad pun.
yeah, terrible pun, but it works. So here's the post that originally started this. So these are all Sarah Douglas. And by the way, if you have not read Sarah Douglas, I cannot recommend her enough. May she rest in peace. The woman is incredibly talented, and just a phenomenal author. So some of these are even, so this is Enchanter, and then you have Enchanter over here. So I can't really, I'll try and find better, like, zoomed in of those. But if you look at this, you can tell that these are dynamic book covers.
She has awesome book covers.
Yes. She spent the money and time. She really invested in someone who knew what they were doing because she loved her stories and she loved her readers and she wanted us to have that excitement, that pull that we wanted, that we needed. Okay, so here is one cover of Enchanter, kind of zoomed, like, close up. So there's one of it.
Yeah.
You've got,
it's done by Louis Royo, I think.
yes,
I think that's the name of the author. Usually his artwork has women wearing less. Let's put it that way. But they look heroic nonetheless.
So then you've got, well, because, like, nowadays the thing is to have, like, your heroine or your heroes back to you, but they're like, well, don't worry, we're getting there. You guys are about to see basically the same book cover for 5 different authors, by the way. Keep this in mind. This is one author. All of these different dynamic book covers is one author, and I think it's like 10 different books. Some of these are the same books, just with new or updated book covers.
Yeah, and sometimes the covers in the US will be different from the European ones, I've noticed.
Absolutely. Yes, that happens a lot. That was
I don't know why they do that.
I don't either. This is the same book. The one that we just looked at, this is the same book. Now, yes, their backs are to us, but you're getting a setting. You're getting a scenery. They're more
A sun
part.
setting, really.
Yes. So you're getting more of like an emotional. Oh God, y'all need to go read these books because they're so good. You're getting an emotional look at the setting and what's happening. And once you, because like when I look at this, I'm like, my gosh, like, are they anticipating a battle? Are they breathing a sigh of relief after a battle? Like, are they victorious? Are they nervous? What are they waiting for? Or what, like, what's going on here? Like, I was intrigued. I was like, this, I don't even need to see their faces, but I know there's something more going on. And look at those beautiful colors. Look at all the
Yeah, it
color,
draws the
Stig.
eyes.
There's I
Look at
like
look at the beautiful covers, he says to a colorblind man.
right. Hey, you know what? They make colorblind glasses. I'm just saying.
I know.
We're
Well,
all
it's just a couple of colors in my case.
oh well, that's good. What colors
I just thought it
can't you
was
see?
fun though.
Hmm.
Like, yeah,
I'm
you
just
know.
saying. Look at the colors, Stig. Just look and
Yeah.
appreciate what you can't see. But even you, I'm sure, can see the contrast.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I have problems with dark blue and purple and
gotcha.
light green and yellow stuff like that. So it's a shade thing.
Yeah, gotcha. But this is clearly contrasted. So you've got like so first you have the dark bolded title. Note how the
Yeah.
title is I talked about this last week at the very beginning of my stream. The title excuse me, the title is the ooh, one sec.
The title is the important part, not the writer usually, because the title tells you
Yeah.
tells yeah it
Sorry.
tells you what the book is about really,
Yeah,
which is
they're
the
selling
important
you
thing.
yeah, they're selling you on the book. They're not selling you on the fame of the author. Now, rightly so because she is so talented. Her name is the second largest font on the book cover, but it's white and it almost blends into the stuff. Like she didn't try
Yeah.
to really make it stand out because if she was trying to do that, she would have done like she would have matched colors out here to try and pull your attention down. So you would have followed the orange or the yellow down here to her name. But instead, it's a stone wall. You can't really put black on a stone wall because it won't pop at all. You won't see it. So she went with white instead.
Usually after a writer has become really famous, that's when they start to make the name bigger on covers.
Yeah, and I've
Or
noticed.
unless the book has become like a big brand,
Mm-hmm.
like Harry Potter,
Yeah.
or something like
Well,
that.
and the thing is, like stuff that J.K. Rowling has not written, her name will be plastered on stuff in big bold letters. Like, um, it'll either say like adored by J.K. Rowling or reviewed by J.K. Rowling or something of that nature. So they're now selling you on J.K. Rowling's name, not the author of the book and not the book itself. They're trying to hook you with a famous author's name. And if you're not already in that author's realm, you're probably going to. I've had a lot of friends who said that they felt duped because they saw J.K. Rowling's name in big letters. So they picked it up thinking it was her book. And then, of course, it wasn't. And I was like, well, that's what you get for being a casual reader. But I get it. Like, you feel like you were lied to. I understand. It's a marketing gimmick and it does work, unfortunately. But those were two covers from the same book. They were both dynamic, they were both interesting. She invested money in her book artist or her cover artist. You can tell. Like even from I know that you guys can't really see this zoomed in. It is on my Twitter if you want to see it closer up. Well, okay, bastard. So what I was saying before, I will never completely discount Harry Potter or J.K. Rowling. The thing is, regardless of how you feel about certain stories being eerily identical to others, Harry Potter got a lot of people into reading. And I will never knock something that was able to do that, if that makes any sense to you
No,
guys.
I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan either,
Yeah.
but I absolutely respect the work, and I
Yes.
certainly didn't hate it either. And
Yeah, I didn't hate it.
I can fully understand why this became a big thing because first off, it struck a nerve with the kids. It made a lot of
Mm-hmm.
kids read, and that alone is for me a big deal. And
Exactly.
secondly, uh, she did the world building well because Hogwarts is absolutely a
Yes.
character in the story, as it
100%.
should be. And
I agree.
if you manage to make the world that the story takes place in, at least as interesting as the characters, then
Mm-hmm.
you've certainly done a great job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the things I love about Tolkien. The Middle Earth is literally a character in that, like,
Yeah, yeah,
you can't have Lord of the Rings if you don't have Middle Earth. Period. End of
yeah.
discussion.
I
Um
would also argue that Gotham and the Batman comics and movies.
Absolutely. Gotham is 100%, like, that's where Metropolis and Gotham differ for me, because
Yeah,
Metropolis is very much, it just feels like a typical city. It's
yeah,
not it's not really anything. And that was once something, like, New York City used to be a character. Like, if you watch
yeah,
TMNT, the 1990 TMNT movie, it is
yeah.
absolutely a character.
And also Ghostbusters.
Definitely. And they go into, like, the different architecture and the culture and all of the things that are good about New York City and what really makes it a character. And then, same thing like you said. Honestly, I know a lot of people disagree. Um, but one of my favorite things about Batman and Robin is Gotham literally feels like it is its own entity.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. They
I
got that part right. It was just
abs
the rest of the movie
absolutely.
was just too goofy.
Yeah, and I can totally respect that. I enjoy the campy, I enjoy the movie. I can totally get past all of that, like, cuz the movie for me it was fun. And though, I do have a lot of questions about casting choices, but hey, it is what it
Yeah,
is. Um but yeah, Gotham is 100% a character. The Batmobile is a character.
yeah.
Metropolis never really was a character.
Ever notice that Batman seems to be, I guess, no pun intended, cooler when there's winter in Gotham. Don't know
Yes,
why. It's just a thing. It just adds to it. You know,
I
the
agree.
gothic
Huh.
feel of Gotham plus winter snow. You know,
Yeah, and I think a lot of that too, we could definitely look at Gothic castles later. Like, I hate modern architecture with a fiery passion. We can talk about that too. That whirls in well with this stream, because these book covers would be to architecture what classic Baroque and Gothic architecture were, and these covers would be modern architecture. These are
modern buildings. Houses.
oh,
Uh,
yeah.
when I see them, I immediately think of Tupperware.
Yes. I think of cookie cutters, but close enough.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes. All right, guys. So I know I brought this up last week, but I'm going to hit this so freaking hard again. There are 5 different authors on this page. 5 different authors, which means five
yeah.
completely different storybooks, 5 completely different timelines, storylines, all of it. And these books up here, this one, if you can see my cursor moving, so we're in the top row, far left corner. Then we're going to skip 2 books. These two are by a different author. They're in the same universe, but these are by 2 different. This is the same author, different story. So here's this book. Then we're going to skip these 2. Here's this book and this book and this book. These are
Actually,
all.
the
Go for it.
those 3 books,
Uh huh.
no, number 4, 5, and 6, you could easily pick up the wrong book at the bookstore
Yes.
because the covers are almost
Almost
identical.
identical. These are
If you're in a
four
hurry, you'll buy the
different.
same book twice.
Yep, these are 4 different books. Like, can you imagine? Because I remember the craze. If these books were, um, like, huge international successes, there were lines out of Barnes and Noble, out of Walmart, out of little mom and pop bookstores for the Harry Potter books. I was in some of those lines waiting specifically for the Goblet of Fire. I definitely remember that one because it was on my birthday that one came out.
I
Um,
have never heard of these books whatsoever, and I
Harry.
read a
Oh
lot of
yeah, no.
fantasy.
But if,
But
like you were saying, if that same phenomenon had happened here, if these four books were just like flying off the shelves, and you were desperate and you saw this book and you thought this book was the one you were actually looking for, you could absolutely mistake these books and you pick this one up and
yeah,
be like, well, I already have this one.
yeah,
And and but this is what we're looking at. So remember before when I was talking about the other enchanter cover, and yes, you had your protagonists or whoever your characters, I won't call them protagonists, I won't give anything away. But you have your two characters turned away from you, but they're enveloped in the setting. This individual, and this is true, look at all these covers. This individual is set apart from the setting. So you have no idea what's going on in the background. This is not a scene out of the book. Okay. So as far as you can, because here's this dude with moth wings or fairy wings or angel wings. It's gods of the stone oracle. So I'm going to assume angel wings, but I could
you
be
know what
wrong.
I'm
Who
thinking
knows?
though.
Huh.
I'm a little bit cynical these days, but a lot of the new writers, the main characters are basically just self inserts, which is kind of like a narcissistic thing. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the character is like covering the cover. You know, it fits too
True.
well, doesn't it?
It really
But
does. But
yeah,
but it's I mean, if you look at these, so if we think about what we saw before, so hang on, um I'll bring up that other enchanter cover really quick again. Okay? So these people are in a scene in the book. They're not standing outside of the scene. They're not standing adjacent to the scene and they're not blurring the scene out behind them, right?
yeah.
They're very much a part of what is going on with this particular scene. So you're like, okay, this is clearly in the book. I can't wait to get to this scene. Well,
When I see this cover, I'm reminded of Luke Skywalker looking up at the binary
the twin
sunset.
sons. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite scenes in any movie.
Oh, yes.
And that's what I'm thinking when I see this.
Mhm.
It's probably something very important
Yeah,
that's happening in that
absolutely.
scene. So
It's
I
either
would
going to
pick up
be
that book. You know,
exactly. Exactly. There's either
the other
something very
ones,
tense about to happen or there's something very enormous that has just passed and they're reflecting on it. It's something like you can just tell.
yeah, the other ones just looks like your generic, you know,
Copy
uh,
paste.
cheerleader falls in love with a emo vampire.
Yeah. And what is with all of these storylines where the female protagonist like goes for the guy who is clearly bad for her? Um and I mean like in every way. It's not like sexy or broody or anything like that. But yeah, we've got all right, let's see. This is called Vampire Eternal. Okay, so I'm guess
Oh,
is
there
she
you
a
go.
vampire?
It
Is
is
she a
about
human?
vampires. I was
Yeah.
right.
So is she a vampire? Is she a human? Why should I care? Like is I don't understand. Like this doesn't pull me into the book because here's vampires like they look the same. And it's not doing anything for me. This I would again just assume it was the same book because I get that you want to stay you maybe this author wanted to stick with a specific theme. There are better ways to do that than to make essentially identical book covers. Um and then we're over here. These are two different authors, two different stories. Um but quite frankly like I wouldn't know because they look the same. Like they look the same. Because see, again, here we go. She's standing here, but she's separate from whatever's happening in the background. You see, sort of like a car and some building stuff, and that's it. Like you,
Yeah,
there's
obviously
she's
it's about a
separate
woman whose car has stopped working.
apparently.
That's what I would think. Like, yeah, sure, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah,
Her car
and
stopped working.
and you've got Song of Wishbrook Harbor, I think, is going to be the one that's like, but again, he's standing separate from the scene. You've got a lighthouse far off in the distance back here, but it's basically just him.
You know what it looks like? It looks like a thumbnail for a Netflix show.
Yes, it does. Oh my god, it really does.
Yeah.
That's a perfect descriptor for this. Abso-freaking-lutely. Oh man. But yeah, like all of this from one author or authoress. I don't know if that's a word, but we're going to make it a word. So all of this from one authoress. I'm just going to count. So you guys, this way you guys know I'm not lying. And Stig can kind of see a little bit better than the rest of you, I think. But
Yeah,
here's
I'm
one.
from Norway, so definitely.
So here's one author. Here's your second author. We're back to the first author. So there's still 2. There's 3. Here's 4. Here's 5. So, and then this one actually belongs over here, and this one belongs with these 3 over here, or these 4.
Yeah.
See, like I can't even tell. I thought these 4 were like together. Like this looks like it should be up here. Does it not? Like, does this not look like this belong? It looks like it belongs up there, and it doesn't. It belongs over here with these. People are like, oh, well, they all have the green, like, lantern thingy in their hand. Okay, she's got a red light in her hand. Like, come on, people. Like this is insanity. Like, I legit thought this, like, I thought this went up here. I really did. So you've got 5 different authors here.
Yeah, the artwork itself, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
but it's just
the style.
Yeah, it's just
the execution. I'm not saying that this artist is not talented. I can't draw this well. Are you kidding me? But especially from what I grew up reading, this is low effort. This basically looks like copy, paste, edit brush.
It's just the artist is it's certainly talented, but it's the whoever designed it has 0 creativity.
Yep.
But
this is what we're stuck with, because people are convinced that this is what readers want. Like they're like, oh well, we're trying to get that. I'm not really sure who their target demographic is. I know that a few people say they're like, oh, they're after the wine moms or whatever. Listen here. I don't know about the mom wine or the wine mom thing, whatever.
I hadn't even heard the term, but it's probably a thing.
It is definitely a thing. And
you know what we call books like that? Those cheap romance novels. We call them housewife porn.
All right.
Because that's what, it is. They keep reading that, and
I mean, but here's the thing. I don't know. I personally am not going to pick up a book with this style of cover on it, because I have now associated this genre where the girl is always perfect, but is somehow at the same time she's super plain, but also the most gorgeous thing that anybody's ever seen, and all the guys want her, but also don't want to like scare her. And then there's either like a creepy stalker or something of that nature. Like, okay,
it's like it's like a creepy stalker, but it's a rich vampire, so it's okay.
Yeah, stuff like that. So like I said, I have friends who are authors, who are writers, and I have one in particular who has a mentor that she's working with, and this mentor has been writing romance since longer than I've been alive, by like a decade. So this particular author knows their stuff, the mentor. And what she told my friend was that today's writers they're confusing, and they're romanticizing like stalking and obsessiveness, and they're confusing that with protectiveness and dedication or commitment. So like one of the things, and I was actually stunned. Stig, you can tell me if I'm an idiot or not. Chat, let me know. But I was actually stunned when I heard this. So she said that it would take just a simple quick fix. Here's a scenario. She's like, just pick a scenario. She's like, here's a scene out of the book. You have the overprotective, jealous boyfriend who is trying to keep an eye on, this girl that he supposedly loves, whom they've known each other for 5 seconds. And they write it away with like destiny or fate or something like that. Or, I guess supernatural, but like you said, the vampire thing is pretty big. Apparently, there's like something there too, like mates or brides or something, like brides of, um, oh my gosh, Dracula
Dracula.
or whatever. Yeah, so they're like, oh, vampire, like, oh, she's the bride I've been waiting, whatever it is, right? Um, I I learned way more about certain genres than I wanted to, but you get to expand your horizons. So she was like, now he has the he's got the tracker on her phone on top of monitoring her credit cards as well as her friends' credit cards and any social media that they have, because um urban fantasy is like a urban supernatural fantasy is a big thing, I guess.
Yeah,
Again,
and
I'm
it's
taking people's word
also
on that. I am not an expert on that. Don't take my word for it, and I don't recommend that genre. But that is what she was.
you know
Sorry, go
what
ahead.
though? Urban fantasy
Mm-hmm.
is what usually gets turned into TV shows because it's cheaper to make.
True.
All you need is a small town. You don't have to build castle sets and all that.
Yeah,
So
that
it's
is very
just
true.
very
At most,
practical
you'll have to
to,
have a mansion or something like that,
yeah,
and you can get away with like 3 rooms.
yeah, which is why you see a heck of a lot of those modern vampire and werewolf shows.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
just sad. That's a good point. That's a really good point. But my friend, her mentor. So her mentor was like, "All right, so you've got the boyfriend who is monitoring the phone, has the tracker on her phone, watching the credit cards, checking her friends' credit cards, and stuff like that. And when she goes to a club that he doesn't want her to go to, but she's her own person, like she's still like, oh, I'm independent, I can go where I want or whatever. And he's like, no, don't go to that club. It's nothing but trouble. It's bad news. You'll get hurt. But she goes anyway, and then he's already there, and then grabs her arm and like drags her away, from the club or whatever. Right? That's a huge. I guess that's like a big thing for whatever reason. Now, there's so many red flags there that I can't even begin to start pointing them all out. I got to some of them, but I think you all are smart enough to figure out what they are. She said if you just change a few elements of that, you get your loyal and protective boyfriend, but also someone who trusts the woman that they love enough to make decisions and learn from her mistakes and live her life. And I'm like intrigued at this point. I'm like, okay. And she's like, so imagine, he simply has you still have the protective boyfriend. He gets an alert whenever her phone goes by an area that has had high crime or is questionable, because he just wants to make sure that she's safe, or that he knows to like check in on her more frequently because of the location that she's in. He didn't know where she was before then. He didn't know that she was going to go there, but now he knows that she's at this club with her friends, because everybody, that's the other thing, everybody geotags their photos nowadays. They're like, oh, we're at club X, partying it up. I'm so creative, aren't I? But they're like, oh, we're over at club X, and we're having a great time, and they've geotagged their photo. So he has done nothing to go out hunting for where she is. He's simply using the tools that are there and an alert notification on his phone for her SD card or whatever it is that pings it, and so he can keep a close eye on it. And he's like, all right, I'll check in on her in like 2 hours and just see how she's doing to make sure everything's okay, but she can still have fun with her friends. Well, then imagine that 90 minutes has gone by and he's like, okay, I'm going to call her in a half an hour, no big deal. But then suddenly there's this, then there is suddenly a news broadcast, like, those like breaking news story or whatever. And it says that a young woman's been murdered in the alley behind this club. Well, now he has motivation to go down to that club because his girlfriend is down there. He knows that she's down there. He can't get a hold of her. He's panicked because the signal on her phone has shut off. Like, he can't see it. He doesn't know what's happened. Did it get stolen? Did it die? Like, what's going on? So he gets down to the club, to find out that, I guess, a bad, I don't know. Cause like, here's the thing too, like vampires are supposed to be, okay, we'll just make the vampires the bad guys. Sorry, everybody that loves the vampire good guys. You find out that this girl's throat has been, they think, slit, but he notices the puncture wounds and he can tell that it's a vampire attack, right? So now he's like, all right, clearly this isn't going to work anymore. I have to have a conversation with her, or we have to talk, because she's not safe. It's not safe. They're clearly trying to come after her to get to me because this girl looks just like her. They're even in the same outfit or something of that nature, right? Well, all you did was change a couple elements and you turned a creepy stalker abusive boyfriend into a concerned protective one. Like, that's literally with just those few element changes. Am I crazy, Stig? Or like, did those little bits not help change the complete tone of the story? Chat, help me out here.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Just it's one of the best writing tips I've ever had is always keep asking yourself who, how, and why.
Yes.
If you can answer all those questions all through the story, then the reader will too, and that means you've written a solid story.
There you go.
So, who, how, and
absolutely.
why? Always
Who, how,
ask yourself that.
Speaking of who, how, and why, so this book that I have never read, and nor have you, Stig, ever.
You know what? You should start reading it, because Miss Martin Muses is going to have that for the book club after the Lord of the Rings sometime.
Okay, I actually already read it, but not really. Like, we haven't read this, Stig. I actually read it because you told me
to. No, we've never read this.
But we've never read this book. But looking at it,
golly, Miss Molly, I want to read it based on the cover.
Right? Like, okay, so it's called It's called Magician. Interesting. I like it. We've got clearly a magician. He has a staff. He's a wizard, or I guess in this case, a magician. And you've got what looks here to be a young apprentice. And they seem to be, they have a map. They have a map, Stig. What does that tell us?
That they don't know where they are.
Exactly. They don't know where they are, but they know where they're going. Funny how life works, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's foggy.
Yes. There's some water here, so they're clearly in like a bay or a cove of some kind, and they're hunting something, or they're trying to.
Do you know where I think they are?
Where do you think they are?
I think they're near the castle of a town called Cryde.
I don't know how you could. Did that just fall out of the heavens and just land in your head?
Yeah, that's what it made. Seeing the cover made me think of.
Yeah, I could see that. They're guys and they are lost. Redneck Gringa, just man.
Yeah, the old guy's like, you're holding the map upside down.
Holding the map upside down.
Be quiet. I'm looking at a seagull.
Oh, they're on a quest. Yeah, I could healthfully assume that they are on a quest. They have a recipe for pizza. Well, that would be quite a trick in this day and age. Just saying. So this is Magician. It's by Raymond E. Feist, and I hope I said that correctly.
Raymond E. Feist.
And I've had it, like much like Stig has had a lot of Sarah Douglas's books. I've owned this book for a while, and I never got around to reading it because I was like, oh, I'll get to it. And then Stig is like, Lady Gravemaster, what are you doing? Go read this book. So I was like, oh, all right, I'll go read this book. So this is a very interesting. Now you still have, remember, think back to the covers that we just looked at. They had cool blue tones as well. They had smoke. But do you guys notice the difference? This is a scene out of the book. Remember how we were talking about that? They're not separate from the scene. They aren't in super focus, and then everything else is blurry to the point you can't tell what it is. Like, you can clearly see this is a standard or a flag of some kind, and this is a rock formation. They're clearly somewhere outside of a castle, mayhaps, possibly.
Yeah, because
we couldn't know that.
There's more of the artwork to the left, basically.
Yeah,
where the castle is. But yeah, also Mystic 89 says this book looks and sounds interesting. I'll tell you one thing. I would give this book a 10 out of 10, and I don't do that often.
I am not even done reading it because I went back to reread book 1 of Wheel of Time before Friday. God help me. But I'm not even done with it, and it's a 9 out of 10 for me. Like, that's how good this book is. And the whole reason we were talking about
I actually gave this book to Miss Morton Muses.
You're so
sweet. She kept reading it, and now she's on book 3. She's just not stopping.
No, it would be absolutely, just pick up this entire series for sure. But the whole reason I have this book is because of the cover. It was sitting,
you found one with
Borders.
The original cover.
We were at Borders, and they were doing like a retro day. And so they had this one on display. This is not the book that I have. I will clarify that. This is not the cover that I have, but this is the book that they had at the top of the display. But it's the only book with this cover that they had. And so that's what brought me over, because I was really interested. And then, of course, this is actually this one right here is actually the cover that I have.
Yeah, that's the re-release, basically.
Yeah.
Well, it says so, doesn't it? New revised edition.
Yeah, new revised edition. This isn't on my cover, I don't think, but this is the cover I have, which is still very, like, again, if we go back to these,
I don't think this is a scene from. I don't think that's a scene from the book, though.
No, it's not. But
but look at that one.
But yeah.
Yeah, the other one. It just gets worse.
It does. But so this is a scene from the, but like, this still can pull you, like, this is still, again, they're part of what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you still have like your purples, and I know you can't see it, Stig, I'm sorry. But
I can see it. It's just I can't tell if it's dark blue or purple.
Yeah. So you've got your stone formations, you've got your fire, you've got your crescent moon. You know, you're like, man, what is going on here? Like, this is really interesting. But it is something that's going to pull you in. Now, granted, like Stig said, it's not necessarily a scene out of the book, but it's enough to make you go, huh, I really hope it's in there. Now, we went from those covers to perhaps the trend or the fad or the whatever you want to call this abomination that I hate the most. And I've brought this up with Stig and Miss Smart. Like, they've all heard this before. This is nothing new for these people. So hopefully, like, it'll be new for you guys. What? Why?
Yeah.
With the keys.
And what are you? This was released after the writer was world famous. So look at the name.
Look at
the name is what you see.
And like, if you didn't know any better, you'd swear to God the name of this book was Feist.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, what does, like... Oh, I'm so done with keys. I'm so sick of keys.
I mean, you know what? In that book, I don't think anyone even uses a key.
No, they don't. As far as I've gotten, no.
Yeah,
they haven't.
I don't think there's keys in it.
And what does this have to do with being a magician? This is clearly a staff. He's got an interesting head attire, gear, whatever. He has a beard, guys. Look at this beard. Look at this magnificent beard. These are robes. This is clearly robes. He has a satchel. Then you have an apprentice who is obviously dressed for adventure. He has a saber. He wants to go and see and do things. Note how the wise old mentor is looking at the map, and the young apprentice who just wants to go out and rescue the princess or whatever is like staring out and being like, oh, like all of this was very carefully and methodically thought out. With it, there was care, there was love put into this. You're gonna downgrade that to this? Like,
Yeah.
yes, Sam McCabe, aggressive minimalism. This is nihilistic, is what this is. There's no, don't worry, Stig. There's no color. You don't have to worry about missing out on
I
anything.
know.
There's no shades of anything here.
Yeah, it's just
There's nothing. Like, I would not pick this book up. Honest to God. Okay, guys, I swear I'm not super weird like this, but this would make me think that it's like an executioner going to a cell. Like,
and probably one that's in really bad shape. He needs 2 hands to hold a keychain.
right? Like, this is either someone on their way to torture somebody else and they're holding their hands behind their back to be
nobody holds a keychain like that, because both hands behind your back holding a keychain, that's a very unnatural thing to do.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So I'm just like you know who holds their hands like this? Assholes. Assholes hold their hands like this when they're like sauntering up to the dungeons. Literally. Like, this is a dungeon sauntering pose. I am calling it that from now on, because that's what this is. That's literally what this is. This is when you are on your way to go torture somebody who is locked away in your dungeon and you plan to enjoy it.
Yeah,
like that's
the keys slap against his buttocks as he walks.
Yeah, it's hard to. It would be so hard to take that seriously. But like, look at this cover, and then down here. So before, right on, Wheel of Time, Eye of the World, we had that little blurb at the bottom that Stig tried to draw your attention to, but we pretended you couldn't see it. And that print was small enough, you couldn't really see it. But from the cover, you could tell that book was a fantasy book. 1, 2, or 3. Is this sci-fi, fantasy, or romance?
It's like
from just the picture.
50 Shades of Grey.
Okay, fine. 4, 50.
It actually looks more like one of those, though, doesn't it?
I'm gonna take your word. Yes, I think I know. Yes, the same style is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Hang on, let me look up. I don't know what the 50 Shades of Grey looks
like.
No,
just keys and whatever. I don't know. But look at the bottom though. The original masterwork of magic and adventure. And I'm like, oh, a masterwork couldn't get a better cover?
Yeah. Like, what about this screams magic and adventure? It's a set of keys bumping against somebody's butt.
Yeah,
okay,
it's like magic and adventure in BDSM. That's what it looks like.
Huh. Oh my freaking good God. Stig, why you do these things to me, Stig? Okay. I completely and 100% understand what you're saying. It's just, look at this. Oh my God.
See?
It's a freaking
I'm always
key.
Right.
Again. But like, what is this? Was she locked in a dungeon? Can somebody explain this story to me? Does she get locked in a dungeon? No, I don't want to know. Never mind. I just remembered the whole like thing that was around these books. Never mind. I don't want to know what the key is for. I don't want to know. They probably did some of this though, right? Like, yuck.
Yeah, but
see, I'm
this
done
guy
with the
does
keys.
it to more people because he has more keys.
Oh God. Magician of the 50 Shades. This is so bad. Cal G 4.3. It looks like some bondage Tumblr fanfic. It does. And this is one of the greatest fantasy novels I've ever read. If this was the cover I had seen that day, I would have never picked it up.
Nope.
Never in a million years would I have picked this book up if that's what they had handed me. Or been like, had this on display.
You know what?
Never.
If I went to the bookstore and said, I wish to purchase a book about dungeon porn, and then I see this one, and I'm like, oh, there it is.
And then you'd be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm like, crap, there's wizards and shit in it.
Chris Persia, I said I don't want to know.
It's about unlucky. Yeah, it probably is.
Ew. Ugh. Gross. Okay, we're done. We're off of the key thing. I hate keys. Please, publishing gods or whoever you are out there, for the love of all that is holy, get off the key thing. Do you have any idea how many books have keys on them? Hold on.
Yeah.
Are y'all ready for this? Like,
Are you Googling books with keys on them?
Yep.
I've told people quite often that I'm psychic, and because I'm a Jedi, and now you witnessed it twice.
Okay. I don't know what. I typed in fantasy book covers with keys. Oh, it's the girl who's the key to everything. I get it. Look, here's your modern fantasy covers with keys on them. But instead, it's the girl who's the key to everything, which I'm also sick of. Please, for the love of God, you cannot do Chosen One or Prophecy like Jesus or George Lucas. Get away from it. For the love of God. Also, developmental editing is a thing.
You know what this is? All of these characters are Rey from Star Wars, the sequel trilogy. It's the same character over and over again.
Absolutely.
Pretty much a blank slate so that the audience can use the main character as a self-insert. That's why they do it.
I hate this. This is terrible. Okay. All right. Book covers. Okay, fantasy book covers with keys on them. Let's see if I can be more specific. Nope, I get the same crap. With fashion. This is terrible. I tried to make a point, and I'm making the exact opposite point of the one I wanted to make. Oh, here we go. Yeah, also, what's up with all the, like, twisted thorn crowns? Like, y'all are ripping off Jesus hardcore.
That's thorns. Even in the titles nowadays, there's a lot of thorn books.
Knock that off, too. Why? And then you get into the book, and there's, like, nothing to do, like, that, like, a king wouldn't wear that. That's a very feminine crown for a king. Just saying. But
yeah, but that's because he's wicked, because he's feminine. Pronoun thing.
I hate this so much. But all right. I don't know why it's not working. I will Google on a different page and find it that way. But my point still stands.
Yeah. There's a lot of keys.
Yes, I hate keys, and I'm over the thorns, especially like if they're like twisting around a girl in a dress. Like, unless she's actually going through bramble, please don't put twisted thorns around her to, like, I don't know if you're going for imagery or something like that.
You know what else they do a lot now? The cover has like almost like a piece of a map on it. And there's a sword or something laying on top of the map.
Yep. Okay, here we go. Shout out to No Leaf Clover. What's going on, Clover? I did key book covers like as you typed that. I was typing that in. This book is literally called The Key.
Yeah.
I hope.
Well, at least it shows what the book is about.
Yeah. Oh, how clever. A minor. Oh God, in a minor key. Okay. We're going to move away from that one. Too many puns. Like,
yeah.
I'm just, like, get off of the key thing. I don't get... Oh, here you go. Look, it's not a sword. It's a key on an open book instead of a map. There you go, Stig.
Yeah. There you go.
Like, oh, look. Book title, author name, key. Literally, this is the template for so many books right here. Copy, paste. Here's your proof. I'm so sick of it. I'm done. You have keys hanging from trees. And I rhymed. Like, oh my God. No,
8
just
keys. It's
stop it. Nobody wants it. Nobody. There's nobody left in this world that wants that at all, in any way, shape, or form.
yeah.
Like, unless it is
And
the
you know,
once in future, unless it is a retelling of the once in future king, nobody wants a sword stuck in a rock or laying on rocks or laying on a map.
Yeah, and now you know you can
All.
see now they even started stuffing keys on the classics, because
Yeah.
Magician is from 1981, I believe.
Yeah, this is from the 80s. So when we get into this thread, Stig, if I'm remembering correctly, this particular thread, a few people threw some stuff. I think you threw in the Shinara books in here as well. But literally, like, we went from this to this. Like, I am spent. I have nothing more to give or say.
Are you livid?
Yes. Oh, here we go. Look at this beautiful cover.
Yeah.
So this is the Sword of Shinara, and it is guys, if you've not read this book,
it's awesome.
It's incredible. Now, I do recommend the Elfstones of Shinara be the first book you read. Would you not agree, Stig? Like,
that was actually the first one I did read.
So, yeah, like you said. But the great thing about Terry Brooks is he's so informative and he's so descriptive. You can pick this book up and still understand what's going on.
Yeah, because
like, you still know what's happening.
There's like a time leap between the books. So yes. I think there's 50 years between book 1 and 2.
Yes. Actual scene. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And you're intrigued. So, like, again, remember I was saying, unless it has something to do, like, this is not technically, this is, I don't want to give the book, like, y'all need to go read this book, because this scene,
well, it's in the title.
Sort of shit. So, yeah, okay. But, like, I just mean everything leading up to this scene is, I was actually, like, really fearful. I really was.
Bastard is asking, how is it compared to the TV show? The TV show is an atrocity.
I'm not even gonna give them points for trying.
No, because they didn't even try.
They didn't.
I mean, they literally have people watching DVDs of Star Trek in it, and they're booing because they think they're elves. They think Spock is an elf.
Yeah, no, and it's so bizarre, because it's like they took bits and pieces from Elfstones and Sword of Shinara and Wish Song of Shinara, and they, like, pulled pieces out and they stuck them into an already existing television series.
Yeah, it's like
and
they took the Lord of the Rings, made it into a, what is it, CBS show, and then put it in the Mad Max setting.
Yeah, kind of.
Or something like that. And you know what? The whole thing is dumb, though, because it takes place 3,500 years after a nuclear holocaust.
Yep.
In that show. And they still have functioning DVD players? Really?
The show, like, some people are like, oh, you got to give them an A for effort, or, credit for trying. No, you do not. You don't have to give credit to someone for not trying. They didn't try. Like, just like Stig said.
Yeah. This wasn't. That's a good point. Jon Favreau was the producer on it.
There you go. There was no real effort put forward, especially as far as honoring the source material goes.
No.
Were there pieces from the books in the show? Absolutely. Did I watch that show expecting it to be really great and, like, waiting for that turnaround moment? Yes, I did. Did I learn my lesson? Yes.
The first scene where they introduce Al-Anon in the show, He's
Ugh,
inside a cave that is
no.
sealed,
Shush.
and he is covered in snow.
Stig. Stop it.
Snow inside a sealed cave. That's how brilliant they
Ah.
are.
And he's like my favorite character. You can't help but love him. Ugh. No, 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 no. Just, we're not going to talk about the show, all right? Oh, God, these book covers are bad enough. Like,
Yeah. Well,
and,
it shows the no effort on shows as well.
yes. And so we
I
went
tell you
from
one
this,
thing:
which, huh.
the Wheel of Time show is going to be the new Shanara.
Oh, God, don't even. I am so terrified for that show. Like, guys, they are shoving, and Stig can correct me if I am wrong, but from everything that I have read, all of the leaks, all of the photos and everything, they are shoving book 1 through 3 into the first 8 episodes of this series.
I would
1
not be
through 3.
surprised.
No, I'm not surprised. But into 8 episodes? Are you
Yep.
kidding me? Like, what? And then, to top that off, apparently, it's not only is the ending going to be controversial, but Rand may not be who we know him to be. What the actual flippity flu are you talking about? Like, guys, if you've not read the books, go read the books and this will make sense. But the reason I got so upset with the first trailer that dropped, we can go back to that tweet in a little bit too. But the first episode that dropped, or the first trailer that dropped, I couldn't tell who anybody was.
No, it looked like a bunch of cosplayers.
Yeah, I couldn't tell, and that's an insult to cosplayers, quite frankly.
Actually, it's
like,
not even that. It looked like someone on a budget doing live action role playing.
Yes, it's exactly what it looked like. You're supposed Rand. I should not have had to watch that trailer 3 times to figure out who Rand was.
No,
and I think between Stig, I think they've dropped 3 trailers if I remember right. 2, maybe 2 or 3.
I watched one of them, and I'm like, I'm not gonna waste more minutes watching this.
Yeah,
because I got duped with the Shanara show, and I got duped with the Sword of Truth show. Sword of Truth followed the book for 1 episode.
Yeah,
and then it just turned into Xena the Warrior Princess, which is
pretty much
not to diss Xena the Warrior Princess. I love that show,
but that's not what this story was about.
No, exactly.
And guys, I will ruin this for you. They're looking for someone who is. They had to be born. Like, they were waiting for this individual to be born because they are someone very important and literally the crux of the series. Like, yes, everybody's important, but it like comes down to them. And I think in the total of almost 5 minutes of trailer footage that they showed, Rand had a total of like 8 seconds of screen time.
I could literally see several, immediately, where they had significantly altered the story.
Oh, absolutely!
And every time they do that, it'll have ripple effects. So,
Yep, it will. You can't. Here's the thing. Here is what Amazon is about to find out the hard way what Peter Jackson let guide him for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but ignored with the Hobbit trilogy. You are not smarter.
What?
You're not smarter.
I'm going to tell you one thing.
No.
The Wheel of Time show, we know it's going to be shit, right?
Yes.
But I'll tell you one thing. I don't think it's going to flop that hard because the casual audience is what they want.
And Rosamund Pike is gorgeous. I love Rosamund Pike. She's a great actress. She's breathtakingly beautiful. It's going to draw a crowd. I am not saying this thing is going to fail. I'm saying if you're fans of the books, just say your prayers and spread the ashes now.
I have seen book fans actually praise this because they're like, finally, I get to see my favorite characters on screen. That's where the thinking stops.
Yeah,
that's where it's not going to be the same characters. It's just going to be the names.
Not even close. But But this is the stuff that you can expect to have coming. Here is a scene literally ripped out of the book, and the point that it took for these characters to get here is filled with so much tension and
Oh yeah.
challenge and stakes. You genuinely are concerned because, like, plenty of people have come before them that have failed. So you are
Oh yeah.
genuinely concerned about
And
this because,
and some of these people failed too.
oh yeah, some of them do. And so we go
Maybe
from this.
especially in the third book. Holy shit.
Well, you know,
Spoiler. It's
it's
like
still
people
good
die
though.
in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's
It was like,
actually stakes. And guess what? They don't come back. Like, they die
yeah.
and they stay dead. They
Yep.
don't come back. So we went from this, a beautiful, and here's the thing, like, yes, he's clearly dressed in white. He's in forest garb. He's also in, like, he's in greens and browns. He's in greens and browns. He's in whites. Okay, so that lets you
Yeah.
know that they're kind of different, right? He's
Actually,
clearly
you know what? In this picture, the dwarf is actually the ranger of the three
true.
because that's Hendel.
Yeah.
He's a ranger.
I gotta go back and reread these books. See, look, I get to go back and re-enjoy this book because you're absolutely 100% correct. Also,
Also the
this
title
is a bad idea.
is written on a scroll, which makes
Yes,
it even more appealing, really.
absolutely. And then you've got, again, we've not, so, like, is this a troll? Is this a goblin? Is this an ogre? Is this something else entirely? Like, what could, like, this is, you are literally set. It's almost like you've walked in on them discovering the sword,
Yeah,
right?
it's like you're the fourth person in the room.
Exactly. You're it, and you and I have talked about this. I loathe first person stories. Like, I there's very few that I actually like and think are rereadable. Um but, like, if this was in a first person, like if Sword of Shinara was in first person, I almost wonder if I wouldn't mind it, because but I don't think Brooks would
I
do
I
that.
I, I wouldn't read it if it was in first person. I hate it. And the last,
Hey.
the new book he released
Uh-huh.
is in first person.
Uh,
So after 40 years, more
mm,
than 40 years of writing, he starts writing in first person. I'm like, stop it.
maybe I'll give a crack at it. It can't be that bad. It's just
Yeah,
first person. Hey, it's not second person.
yeah, not
Like,
fifth either.
well,
Well,
no, like, have,
second person would be you.
yes, exactly.
It,
Like, that's why,
that's even worse.
yes, yes, it is, because the writer is assuming what the reader is thinking and saying, and therefore you have to, if you're not in the exact mindset that the author wanted you to be in when you read their book,
You
it's not going to
can
work. That's why
you can
second person is for poetry and poetry only.
you can do so much trolling if you write a novel in second person, because all you have to do is have the
I'll leave that to you.
the main character say all kinds of racist stuff.
Oh my
Like,
god.
you say this, you said, like, you know.
I'm gonna leave that to you, Stig. You go be the dungeon master of that one. Have fun. All right, so finally we go from this to
Yeah,
this.
look at this
What is this? The Sword of
Photoshop.
Shinara. There's no sword.
Yeah,
Like, the one time you need a sword on the cover. There's no
yeah,
sword.
yeah. Oh, they forgot about the key though.
Shut up, Stig. I'm sure there's a key in the
Yeah, and
castle somewhere. Oh no, look,
even
this
that
kind of looks like a
castle.
key.
You know what? There's no castle in that story that looks like that.
None whatsoever. Like, I don't know who this is. This is too delicate to be. Oh god, I can't even think of the name of it anymore.
It looks like
But it's
Hogwarts.
just kinda, because, like, the other, where they go to find the sword is like skulls and rocks and bones and terror. Like, it's terrifying. And then of course you've got um Stig, help me. It's been too, like, that show has ruined my brain is now melted. The castle, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Paranor.
Yes, like that's not what Paranor looks like.
No, Paranor is in the
That's
forest.
yeah. So I'm not sure where this castle in the clouds, because that is clearly in the clouds. If you're telling me that trees are orange, we got a serious problem going on right now. That is not
Yeah,
a
it's
river. Like
no.
this looks like a mountain, and these look like clouds. And so you have a
So
castle in
it's
the clouds,
very, very high up then
very high
in the
up.
mountain,
Also, I don't know who
which
is in
doesn't have,
charge.
which doesn't happen. Yeah, and
No,
look at the horses though. I mean,
look at how
they
big.
must be
Look at the scale.
huge.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know who is in charge of scale, but like they are like a tenth of the size of the castle. These things should be dots on the bridge, if anything. And
Yeah,
like they're huge. Who did this book cover? Like,
don't know.
shame on you, dishonor on your cow. How are you going to go from something this beautiful with the scroll and the door and the character and like they all have expressions on their faces, and someone's like, "Oh, you're always complaining about color." There's color here. It's just that the majority of it pulls you towards the title and the sword, like it's supposed to. And then you're looking at the surrounding. You're like, oh, okay, this is what this scene is. So again, the sword is the fixation point, but it's not separate from the scene. It is, in fact, the central part of the scene you are viewing.
Yeah,
I don't know what this is. Nothing.
yeah. This is.
This looks like okay,
I see
guys.
Lord Thoth in the chat says it's probably the fortress of Tircis.
Mm,
That's not in the mountains though.
that's not in the mountains, and this is high. This is very high up.
Yeah, because it's above the clouds, so this is really high up in the mountains.
And then I don't
Well,
think you guys.
I guess it could be fog.
You're giving them way too much benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I'm a
Because if it's
kind
fog,
man.
where's the trees around? Like, where's everything else around the castle? The castle would be lower set, and you'd have like mountains behind the castle if it wasn't on top of a mountain.
Yeah,
Like, there should be like if this is Tircis, where's the setting? Like, it's off. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get where you're coming from, Lord Toth, but it's off. It's not.
yeah,
It is not accurate.
yeah. And you know what? The main characters didn't even use horses. I think
No.
they walked. As far as
They
I can
used
remember.
they used horses for like a half a second
Okay.
in the very beginning. But yeah, I don't know what this is. I don't know who is in charge of scaling or color. Like, Stig, this cover must just be doing a number on you. Can you even see this cover?
It looks like diarrhea in the castle.
Oh my god. My heart aches for like, and when people are like, oh, well, when I see a book cover like that, I automatically think it's old fashioned and I don't want to pick it up. Why?
You know what's really bad though? You know the with the new cover. Can you bring it up again?
Yeah.
And just look at it for 5 seconds. Someone was paid money to do this. And then it got put on a classic book to represent the art in this book.
They got paid a lot of money to do this because these books are literally worldwide phenomenons.
All they did was Photoshop a castle onto some mountains and then shat on the rest of the paper. That's what they did.
Pretty much. I mean, it's good to know that if I ever lose my job, I can just go into book cover art. Good God.
Yeah. Learn to code. That's what they meant.
Learn to code. But and so when people are like, oh, I would never pick that up because it looks so old fashioned. I don't get it. Like you are all to blame for this. All of this. This is your guys' fault. The negative space hurts my eyes.
The only thing it's missing is a bloody glowing key in the sky.
I mean, it's 100% true. Yes. Or like a key, or like a massive key falling right here from the horses.
You know what? The guy at the front should be holding his arm up high, holding a key.
There you go.
riding
There it
out of the
is.
castle with the key.
It looks like the cover to The Catcher in the Rye. Holy crap! It kind of does. But see, The Catcher in the Rye makes sense why it looks like that.
Yeah, this makes no
doesn't.
sense.
This makes no sense. Like, none whatsoever. Like, what are you doing? I don't understand. And oh my god, that's like, here we go. I know this is some art you absolutely love.
Yeah, this is the original Kenobi cover.
To this.
Yeah.
What is this?
It's
Like, this looks like concept art.
Yeah, these new. I mean, look at the one on the right, though. It looks like the first attempt at your first assignment at art class.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, this looks like concept art.
Yeah,
100%.
it looks like some shit, like a little page from a shit comic.
Yep. And then you've got okay.
You know
God,
the second
Wedge.
book, the Darth Plagueis book.
Yeah.
You have Palpatine sitting at the front in the book. Palpatine has red hair, by the way. They couldn't even get the hair color right.
Oh Lord. And then you went from this.
Yeah.
What is this? Like, Bob Ross would be disappointed in y'all. Like, come on, Disney. I don't know what this is. And then you've got the artists' names down here. Like, why are you bragging?
Yeah.
Why are you bragging? I don't understand. Like, what happened to skill?
This book, by the way, the Kenobi novel,
Mm-hmm.
is probably the best. Well, in my opinion, the best Star Wars book. It reads like a It reads like a western.
As Star Wars was meant to sort of be.
Yeah, it's about Kenobi settling on Tatooine after Revenge of the Sith, going into exile, and trying to come to terms. He's basically deconstructing himself because he can't be a Jedi anymore. So he's basically
You mean all that stuff that Kathleen Kennedy said they had no references for?
Yeah, it's very psychological. Actually, this book, it's damn good, really is.
And anybody that didn't know, Stig is an EU connoisseur.
Well, so, I would say George Lucas era Star Wars fan, because back then everything tied together.
Yes, everything did tie together. And like the novelizations for the movies back then, they expanded on the story. They didn't alter it or fill in plot holes. They just built on what was already there.
And you know who told them to do that? That was George Lucas.
George Lucas.
Told them to put stuff in the books that he didn't have time to put in the movies because the movies would be 5 hours long. Yep. So he had them put them in the book. Terry Brooks wrote one of them, actually. He had to flesh out the rule of 2 because it could only be 2 Sith.
Yeah. Yep.
And Terry Brooks was the one who came up with the name Darth Bane, the guy who started the rule of 2. In a meeting with George Lucas, actually. So
that's awesome. I didn't know that.
Then George Lucas had them write the Darth Bane trilogy. And also the Plagueis book, Darth Plagueis. Mm-hmm. George Lucas heavily oversaw that book, making sure they got it right.
Yes.
So how the hell can they say that was not canon?
They can't. Disney has to say that because they don't want to pay royalties to anybody.
Well, yeah, that too.
What is it? They're about to rip off the Thrawn trilogy, and they are about to do it such a disservice because it's going to be Ahsoka instead of Luke.
I'm pretty sure.
Just stop, Disney.
And
I know you're not going to listen to me, but just stop.
Boba Fett's going to be the new Talon card. They're setting it up in the Boba Fett show.
Just make it stop. I need to make
the weird thing
dollars.
Is people bashing the EU and blah blah blah, which is fine. You don't have to like it. Mm-hmm. They're bashing the EU and then they start cheering. Oh, we're going to get the Thrawn trilogy. Like, well, that was EU, wasn't it?
Yeah,
They just
that
passed
was the
it.
EU. That was all.
Yeah,
That was all the stuff that you said you hated.
yeah.
Oh, it kills me. So this decline in
Effort.
artistry and effort is affecting all areas. I
Yeah.
believe Stig, you had a conversation with Dan Vask about album cover art and how it has also declined. I think you guys were talking about like
I
the difference between Manowar and something else. Because I think we started that conversation, but I think because he's such a big metal fan, he saw your album cover or you saw his that one of you put up, and you were like, "It's a tragedy that this isn't what album cover art looks like nowadays." Album cover art, I've got to blame
yeah. Well,
Evanescence for that
it's not
one.
just that. I mean, video game box covers too.
Yep, absolutely.
Back in the day, you had gorgeous video game covers.
Mm-hmm. I think. Let me see.
Now it's just generic. You don't even get covers much more either because they're selling them digitally, right?
Yes, unfortunately, it's it, it's it is a lack of effort, and it's
Yeah,
copy and paste
yeah.
because it's easy, it's simple. Okay, so hang on,
Also,
I'll bring that up.
movie covers. Remember those old
So
Golden
this
Axe?
is Golden Axe. So Stig's got a couple. If you want to go like, um, he has a few that are similar to this, but here's this particular one. This is a video game box cover, guys.
Yeah,
Like
with the
this is a
three
video
characters you
game.
can play on it.
Look at this. Look at the detail and the care and how beautiful this artwork is. And you've got I'll have to here, I'll take this off. I got to find the other one. But there's there's only um there's only so much you can do
Oh, you know what? Uh,
minimalistically. Like,
if
go
you
ahead.
Google "Betrayal at Krondor" box cover, you'll see something amazing.
Am I actually going to see something amazing, or is this a cruel trick?
No, no, it's amazing.
Okay. Stig, help me out. Is this what I'm looking for?
Well, you're supposed to look at the box cover. It's
Well,
just add that Betrayal at Krondor box cover.
box cover. I can't talk like you. I'll try though.
There it is.
Oh,
Top right.
TV.
I'm sorry, top left. Well, you can get a better one of just the. Look at this. This is a video game box cover
Yeah.
based on Raymond Feist's books, by the way.
Books.
Look at
Yeah.
this. Compare this to the shit we get today. You know?
We don't even get anything today. Like you said, it's all digital.
Yeah.
Like, which is just a travesty. It's not Evanescence's fault, it's Rage Against the Machine's fault. Okay, fair. But also you can't deny that Evanescence, I blame her. She hold on. You'll see what I mean in a second. Yep, we're
You
gonna do
know,
this.
when you bought this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it came out, you got a fold out map of the world that the game takes place in. You got a big book of lore and a manual, all kinds of cool stuff just to get you going, right? Feel like you bought a
Yes.
product, but it's just now it's just usually some guy holding a sword, and there's explosions behind him or something like that.
Yeah. I will say that Halo had some great box covers. All right. Tell me that this doesn't look like all of those covers that we were just looking at. Evanescence has to take some blame here, Clover. Like,
Yeah.
just a little bit. I will give you that Rage Against the Machine is definitely also culpable. But look at this and tell me that that wasn't sans the blurry scene that she wasn't even a part of anyway behind her. Tell me this is not every book cover of the modern urban fantasy that we just looked at.
Yeah,
That is
there's
it.
like a vampire.
That is it right there. Evanescence has to. I mean, she's definitely like. Oh God. I was gonna say she's changed, but not nearly as much as she should. Like, it's a freaking key. The
Yeah, there's
open
a key on
door.
it.
There you go. There's a
See?
key on it. Like, guys, we have to be honest here, Clover. Like,
It's a
you got
pandemic of keys.
Evanescence has to take some of responsibility. Take responsibility. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Meanwhile, we get back to Brandon Sanderson.
It's
The Stormlight Archive.
you know what it
This
is?
you need to read. What?
I know what it is.
Hmm.
It's COVID-19.
I don't know. That went over my head. I don't know what that is.
COVID-19.
Oh my God. Stig, you're too smart for me.
Pandemic.
Oh God. Oh my God. It's true though. Sad.
It is.
Sad day.
Even
The
even
key to your
Evanescence
freedom.
had a key.
Even Evanescence had a key.
Yeah.
All goth metal looks alike now. It does. It really does. And I don't know why. Like, it's the same thing. We went from Blade vampires and
Yeah.
Lost Boy vampires
To soap opera vampires.
Yeah, and I think that might be an insult to soap operas, quite frankly, because I remember watching Days of Our Lives and Young and the Restless and Passions with my grandma.
You know what they
Like,
didn't have? Keys.
They did not have keys. No, they didn't.
Nope.
Some of them had key cards though for like hotel rooms. Just saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Here's my theory on the key thing. They are attempting to hit a nostalgia chord because a lot of fantasy books have, you know, like those dungeons or those towers or those castles that have those huge iron keys and locks and stuff like that, right? So they're trying to give you like this urban fantasy feel and still hit the nostalgia with the key or the sword or the freaking hourglass. That's another thing. Hourglass.
Oh yes, hourglass.
Oh my God, Miss Martin stands to the hour. Yes, these are the days of our lives. But yes, also hourglasses are everywhere as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
and pendants and amulets.
Yes,
even though there's none of them in the book.
Nowhere in the book.
Like
They are not, or if they are in the book, they are a passing thought. They are a cursory thought.
Yeah.
They're not actually important to the story. I remember when if you put something on the cover of the book, it mattered to the story, to the book. It was important. Like, oh, there's a broken crown on the cover of this book. Does a king die? Does a queen die? Does somebody get kidnapped? Why is the crown shattered? And then you read the book and you're like, oh, it shattered because the prince is standing up for his kingdom and is refusing his father's tyrannical rule and becomes a rebel prince.
Holy Nick McCabe, chess pieces. You know what? I think they put chess pieces on some of the new releases for Raymond Feist books.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And yeah, lockets lying on tables. That's also a thing.
Or next to clocks. Or freaking pocket watches. Like, okay, guys, we get it.
Oh, and lit candle on table. Also a thing. Happens a lot.
Oh, here we go. Sam McCabe giving us a list. Roses, check. Thorns, check. Chess pieces, check. Come on. Ha, get it? Check. Crowns, check. Swords, bows and arrows. Yes, with no context. Yep, Nerdscape, rose petals. And it's not like it's rose petals on a bed or rose petals in a fountain, and then there's like a proposal scene or something with rose petals in the fountain, right? They're just rose petals and nothing else. And then there's no rose petals in the freaking book. Like, Lyrically Nightwish had rusty keys. Yeah, rusty keys too. What the heck? I don't know what Lyrically Nightwish is. I'm gonna take your word for it. But I don't understand why are you so desperate to look the exact same and tell the exact same story with a few minor tweaks as everybody else? You're never going to stand out that way. I mean, it's my grandpa used to say this all the time, and it's still like something that sticks with me to this very day. He still says it. He's still that man is incredibly strong and still kicking. Um, he used to say that you are never going to be remembered for doing what everybody else does.
Yeah.
And that's true. Now,
Yeah.
there's a difference between taking a genre like fantasy and you have the hero's journey. Okay, but tell it your own way. We've talked about this, Stig. It's not necessarily the structure, it's the execution of the genre,
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
story, of the characters. That's what matters. You
Which
could
is
read
also the rule for the legal rule for plagiarism is that you can't plagiarize an idea, but you can plagiarize the unique execution of that idea.
yes. That's why um you had if you look at all of those sci-fi is a great example. So you had Star Trek, which has spaceships and has there's time travel in there. There's oh gosh. Um like so essentially they've got I'm going to screw this up so bad and I'm going to apologize. You've got in Star Wars and Star Trek because those are the ones that get compared a lot. But obviously, if you guys have ever seen like Babylon 5, really any sci-fi, you're talking space travel, you're talking spaceships, you're talking a crew, aliens. Those things are they're like required for the genre. You know what I mean, Stig?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with fantasy. Horses, medieval times, magic, swords, battles, tactical meetings, kingdoms. Those are literally like bread. They are molded into the genre that is sword and sorcery fantasy. That's why it's everybody gives Highlander crap, but I have to say it is the closest, it did the best job of blending traditional sword and sorcery with urban fantasy, quite frankly, in my opinion. Now, I've
Yeah.
not seen Twilight, but maybe that did a better job.
No.
Just kidding. Oh, speaking of, should I tell them? Should I tell them what I plan to do?
About what?
About Twilight?
Oh,
We've had this discussion.
you were gonna watch them.
I've never seen or read Twilight. But they seem to be the root cause of a lot of problems, especially Mouth Breather Chick, who ruined Snow White and the Huntsman. That movie was fantastic, except for all the scenes that she was in.
She has same face syndrome.
Yeah, she also has charisma suck.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a lot. Okay. When you are in a scene with Chris Hemsworth, who has been, and this is regardless of if you think he's attractive or not, have you ever heard a bad word from a co-star or a producer or anything like that when it comes to Chris Hemsworth?
No.
Like, no. They all say that they have great chemistry. He's really funny. He loosens everybody up on set, and he has a really good time with everyone. When you're in a scene with Chris Hemsworth and he is giving you everything you need and you still can't deliver, you are the problem. Like, I never watched Twilight, but if she was anything like that in the Twilight movies,
she's everything like that.
Oh my god. So, I know that some people are fans of Twilight. If you are fans of it, that's fine. And some people have told me that the books are so much better. You know what? They always are, but bad books are still bad books. And bad shows are still bad shows. You can like them. You don't have to agree with me. But I am going to do a live watch through of the Twilight movies. So I don't know if it's going to be this weekend or next weekend. Wheel of Time might take all of my
Do you drink alcohol?
I don't.
Start doing it while watching Twilight.
Start doing.
Just trying to help.
I'll be all right. I've got my water, I've got my apple juice, and if it gets real bad, I don't know, like I'll stop and go on a run. But
You know what you
I
could do
just
though? Uh,
huh.
uh, get a needle, and every time the movie hurts you, poke the needle into your arm,
Oh,
so that you'll replace the agony of watching the stupid with normal physical pain.
is it that bad? I'm kind of scared now. Like, okay, I'll tell you what. We'll watch the Twilight trailer because I saw the trailer, and that is why I've never seen the movies. The trailer was more than enough for me. But for you guys, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go watch Twilight because I swear to God, ever since those movies came out, seems to be when we went down this dark road, this very dark road of nihilism and why a girl who is perfect in every way and is super plain, but is gorgeous at the same time and wanted by everybody because she's the mysterious new girl, even though
Which means
there's
she's
like,
a Mary Sue. That's a Mary
yeah,
Sue trait.
essentially.
Everyone wants the character
You're
for
a
no
brave woman.
good
Oh my
reason.
God, I'm not going into the book. Like, I'm just watching the movies. The ending to the last Twilight movie is atrocious. So joy, I can't wait. Um, I maintain Stephanie Meyer found vampires more interesting than Bella. It's the way many YA stories are nowadays. I mean, that's possible. Who's Bella?
The Kristen Stewart.
Oh, same face chick, mouth breather,
Yeah.
breather. All right, I am not gonna remember her name.
You know what?
Sorry.
If you look at her face, right,
Uh huh.
in almost every scene, she looks like she can smell cat piss and can't tell where it's coming from.
What?
Yeah.
CGI baby. Oh God, what am I getting myself into? Clover, stop it. Okay, but there's only like no, I don't love pain, Soul Assassin, but sometimes in order to cut the cancer out, you got to figure out where it's hiding. Okay, I have a feeling.
Well, pain is okay as long as you have a key.
Shut up, Stig. No keys. There will be no keys. Oh God, are there keys in Twilight? Are there
Uh,
keys in Twilight, chat?
I don't think so. There might be.
By the last story, you'll be drinking like a fish? What are these movies? I say that and I don't hate the movies. Oh my God, Green Lion, what is going on? Um,
The
Good
vampire
God.
sparkle.
Key to a sparkly lock. Oh joy.
Yeah.
Apples. I remember. Oh my God, no. The apple thing. Hold on. Okay. I think. Yeah. I remember this. Oh God. Hold on. Twilight book cover. They're showing me. They're showing
There's
me
an
her.
apple on a vampire book cover.
Apparently. Oh my God. Look, chess pieces. Rose petals with blood. Is those rose? Those are feathers. So those are supposed to be petals / feathers. That's a
Uh,
pomegranate. And we have a
there's a lot of
ribbon.
someone's using two hands to hold an apple.
Apple.
That's a heavy apple.
That. Why? Why is there a red chess
See?
piece?
Yeah, chess piece.
What's
McCabe called
going
it.
on? Holy crap! There's 5 books?
Yeah, they sold well.
Are there 5 movies? I thought there were only 3 movies.
No, there's 5.
There's 5 movies.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
Teresa says the chess actually plays support in the book. Fair enough.
where you at, Teresa? I didn't see that comment.
Yeah.
I see
Near
your
the
apple
bottom.
near the bottom. Oh, here we go. Chess is actually a part of the book. Do they just play chess, or are they in a battle of wits, and it's metaphorical and smart? Or am I giving it too much credit?
They're probably playing
I don't-
chess, and the winner gets the apple.
and the loser gets tied up by the ribbon that breaks.
Yeah. And then
And
they're like, shit, we should have had a key for that.
we should have had a key. What? What? Chess pieces are blacksmith. Yes. Yes, they are. They are indeed. This is a stream about book covers. Yes, Floyd Looney. How are you doing? We are talking about the travesty. So look, this is apparently these are apparently worldwide phenomenon selling books. What does an apple have to do with do you guys know what Twilight is? Like, I'm not calling you stupid. I'm asking, do you guys understand what Twilight, like, does this come up in the book at all? Miss Martin, where are you
Probably
at?
does.
Because forbidden fruit, that has nothing to do with Twilight, though.
No, it's the apple symbolizing forbidden fruit because I
Let me
guess
guess.
she wants
Hold up. Let me guess. She's a human and he's a vampire.
she wants to bang the vampire.
Good God in heaven.
Yeah. And there's werewolves too.
Yes, that's the thing. Oh my God, Miss Martin, you're so patient and so sweet. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm sure you love these books, and if you do, God bless you. They are all for you. If you don't, like, I'm not saying you do. I don't know if you do or don't. But like, what is this? Like, this doesn't. This is not an eclipse. Do you get, like, an eclipse is when you have one object completely blocking out or directly coming in between the path of another object and the sun. Usually celestial
Well,
beings
yeah,
like Earth and Moon.
the eclipse has to do with the vampires, I believe. But
oh my God, nobody like. So what?
they
They can
should
come out
put an
during the day,
eclipse then. They should have an eclipse on the cover, not a ribbon.
right? Like, what? And then Twilight has nothing to do with fruit. Twilight is literally like just before everything goes pitch, like it is the last like it's the last throes of light. That's got nothing to do with an apple. Apples don't grow in the dark. I get it, forbidden fruit, Miss Martin.
Maybe
I'm
that
with you on
apple
that.
only
that apple
grow
grows in the dark. And then we got a flower.
only during Twilight. But yeah, there's people confessing to liking the books in the chat. You know what?
Okay.
That's perfectly fine.
You guys can
Yes.
totally like these books.
Yes,
That's
I'm glad
fine.
you do if you
Yes.
like them.
I'm just confused by the covers specifically because this is supposed to be a flower, but it's got feathers, and I can't tell if that's blood or just the color of the feathers. And then you've got chess pieces, but it says Breaking Dawn. And like, yeah, I'm sorry. It is lost on me, to me. I don't get it. I'm very much done with these.
Maybe if
type
you
of
read the
covers.
books, you'll get it though. It could be.
I don't want to read the books.
But
I'm barely gonna make it through the movies. Look at this. Like, look at how beautiful this is. Look at the detail of what's around his feet. Look at his cloak, his armor, his standard, his sword. And then you have, is this an opponent? Is this an ally? Like, who is this off in the distance? What's going on? Why are they in what appears to be, I don't know, when Pangea split apart? Like, what's happening here? I want to see this. The Way of Kings. Okay, so is this like a crucible? Is this how you become a king?
It's in the distance. It's Rick Moranis, the keymaster.
It's Rick Moranis. The gatekeeper. I got it. The keymaster, gatekeeper. I see what you did there. And then we have. So this is the wise man's fear, but even this.
Side note: this man, Patrick Rothfuss,
yes,
has taken longer than George Martin to write the next book. Because his book 3 is not out yet, and book 2 was out before Game of Thrones book 5, so he has actually taken longer than George Martin, and these books are not as complex whatsoever.
Maybe he wants to make it more complex. I don't know. But I will say that this is at least, again, it's almost like when we were looking at the Sword of Shinara, the original cover. It's like you've walked into this alley, and so now you're like, who is this cloaked figure in the distance, or is that just the fog? Like, am I seeing things? Clearly, we're in a specific time period, or we're in a very old part of town. You know what I mean?
It still
So
looks photoshopped though.
it really does.
And this is not the
It's
original cover. The original cover
no.
was a painting thing because I have the first two books.
Ooh, look at you. But I will say that it's not an improvement, but it's different from, this is going to sound so dumb. It's different from the other covers because he is still sort of part of the scene. And like I said, it's kind of like the Shinara cover, where the Sword of Shinara cover, where you walk in and you're sort of witnessing this scene happen. But also, instead of him being in the center and everything else being blurred, he's back here blurred and everything else is in super focus. You know what I mean? So it's almost like it's the exact opposite, like same concept but different execution.
It's because the character is discovering himself.
I still maintain that it looks like the other covers, just inverted.
Yeah,
But
there's that too.
but it still but the thing is, it does still kind of feel like a scene out of a book. You definitely get a setting from this, which is nice.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know that this is actually a scene in the book, which I miss. And then you've got Dune. This cover must also be doing just all kinds of havoc on you.
No, it's I just think it's a damn boring cover.
Yeah. I think because I've read this story, the cover now makes sense to me. But I didn't pick Dune up because of the cover. I picked it up because of my uncle, who is a huge sci-fi fan. And he told me that I would really, really love it. And I ended up really, really loving it, but it would not have been my first choice, if I'm going to be completely honest. And I know a lot of kids read this in high school because they were forced to, and they ended up liking it. But again, they thought it was dull. Now, I think that the shading, like, I kind of like how it looks like a sandstorm. I get what's going on with the cover. But I do think that more effort could have been put into it. I get where he's coming from, but this is not near as good. Like, this by far takes the cake. Like, look at the detail of the clouds. I mean, this is phenomenal. It makes you want to go on this journey. And it's just...
Oh, did you see the Conan covers I sent you?
Yes.
The comics? Horrendous
yes.
downgrade.
So here, let me... Hold on. So yeah, it's... As you can tell, guys, there has been a lack of care. I don't even know what to call it. Like, just intrigue and dedication to a craft. Okay, so here is one. Let me pull up. I'll pull the other up too, so that we have it ready to go. Okay. All right, guys. So this is Conan.
Yeah, this is your
this is
standard Conan comic from back
cover,
in the
comic
day.
book cover.
Pretty damn
look
good
at the
for
detail.
a comic cover too.
Absolutely. Like, you've got the blood on his sword. He's got a gash in his thigh. She's friggin' gorgeous. I have no idea how that's staying on, but I like it.
Oh, it's she's very practiced.
Yes. But like, she's clear, like, she's very feminine. She still looks like she could kick your behind. She's got her fiery red hair going on. You've got creatures that Conan has obviously gone barbaric on.
Yeah,
And
and
then
it literally tells you what it's about,
yeah,
and
savage
this is
storytelling.
accurate actually. Even the artwork in these comics are extremely detailed.
Yep.
And then you
And
have
then
this.
you got this.
This is what's happened to Conan.
Yep. Let me
Look
see
at
if I
this.
can. Hang on. Let me see if I can. All right. I'll try and get these as close together as I possibly can.
Yeah.
So
Look at this.
you went from this to this.
Yeah.
What even is this? This looks like some wannabe Samurai Jack stuff. I don't even know what to call that, quite frankly.
Yeah. It looks like
Like,
something from the Cartoon Network, actually.
yeah, like Adult Swim rejected Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
And but then you had this. Like,
I mean, it's the one on the left is worth it for the cover alone.
absolutely. You want to delve into that story and see what's going on. I don't really care. And like, these two are basically the same woman. They just changed their hair color. They're nothing like Sonya. Sorry, Red Sonya.
No,
Like,
that one isn't Red Sonja.
It's
That's
not?
no, that's the the Bond girl of the month, basically, in the Conan stories.
Oh. I thought that was Red Sonya. My bad.
Yeah, no.
Still, she stands out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've got that, and then I had a request in. Hold on, I saw you. Okay. Google cover C.S. Friedman Crown of Shadows. Okay, hang on. The first cover is like, take this and deal with it. The second cover is posed for a photo shoot. Exactly. Like, that is 100% what you saw there. All right, let me. Oh lordy.
Also, if you've never read the original Conan stories by Robert E. Howard,
Mhm.
it's something to check out. They actually predate the Lord of the Rings.
Huh.
They were released in the early 1930s. So
Interesting. Ooh, I kind of. All right, so. Oh, Stark. Jokum? Is that how you say it? Jokum Stark? I don't know. You're the Game of Thrones guy, Stig.
Joachim Stark.
Jokum
He's
Stark?
sweet.
Okay.
He's Swedish.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Joachim Stark. So, Crown of Shadows. I have not read this one. I'm gonna have to read this one.
It looks awesome.
That's fantastic. Like, what's going on here? I see. Like, I want to know. I want to investigate. Oh,
Have you ever seen the Piers Anthony book covers?
yes, of course. I own Piers Anthony. Are you kidding?
They are
Actually, it's my husband. Oh gosh, there's Piers Anthony. He
those covers wouldn't fly today.
No. Oh, come on. There's one specifically I'm looking for.
Usually it's
All
like
right.
topless women tied up and the hair is serving as a bra.
Let me see if I can. We're gonna wait. You've already ruined it, Stig, but I want to find, because my husband actually had some Pierce Anthony, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Ha! Here we go.
Cheesy as heck.
But so good.
That one isn't too bad though. I've
It's
seen
not.
racier ones than that.
Yes, but like
Stork naked.
Stork naked.
Good pun.
That one always made me giggle. Let me see. No. Oh, here we go.
Yep.
That's some. There you go. That man. Yeah,
You know what?
I can't help but giggle.
That boat can always have the right heading.
Oh my god, Stig, you're killing me. No, I need to read more. Piers Anthony, by the way, guys, he's got a crap ton of books out. Like, also generally a good read. Like, wouldn't you say, Stig? Like,
I've
he's
only read a couple way back, but they're like cheesy pulp kind of stuff.
yeah, they're a decent read. They're definitely not a Tolkien or a C.S. Lewis or a
No,
Feist,
no. This is pure entertainment.
but they're fun. They're decent for sure. As you can tell by his art, by the cover art, like he was here to have fun. He likes pretty women. Oh, she's clothed. So,
Yeah.
yeah. He definitely likes pretty women. Piers Anthony is fun to read for sure.
Oh, did you see the Conan novel cover I sent you?
Yes,
It's in
I
the
did. All right.
that
I don't know.
artwork is fantastic.
Okay. Ta-da.
Look at this. This is a book cover.
This is
You
for
know?
a book.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me see if I can-
Written by Steve Perry, who wrote Shadows of the Empire.
I mean, this has got some serious. If you guys have never seen it, it's called Legend. It had Tom Cruise in it. But
You know what it looks like? A heavy metal album cover.
it kind of does.
Yeah.
Um,
I got
I
a blurb by Robert Jordan too.
well deserved. Swashbuckling Conan at its best.
Yeah, Conan
See,
books are awesome.
when stuff used to be fun, and I'm not sure when I ranted about this the other day. I blame feminism. Like, who thought it would be a good idea for who thought it would be a good idea to work 40 to 50 hours a week and be so exhausted that you can't actually enjoy your life
You know,
and be super concerned about being like a man in the workplace, but then also not wanting to be treated like one of the men in the workplace. Like, it's just
you know what else though? It's very, and you can see it in this picture. Feminists, lose their minds because a scantily clad woman. Look at
yes.
Conan.
Yep.
He's wearing less.
He is indeed, and that's all for the ladies.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So the one on the left, that's perfectly okay. But the one on the right, oh, she's not wearing enough clothes.
Well, this is the hypocrisy that we're talking about. These,
Yeah.
there.
You can literally
If you
see it
look
in this cover.
at Ghostbusters 2016, they tried to make the assistant be the eye candy, and like, oh, we're gonna fawn over the assistant who's a guy, while we're all high powered, capable career women. Like, and that it didn't work. But it like they tried to make that funny or objectifying. Oh, look, we're gonna objectify men. We already do that. Like, have none of these women ever watched Baywatch? Like, seriously, that was just as much for the women as that was for the guys. Let's be honest.
I'm actually rewatching Baywatch.
There you go.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since it came out, and I've been trying to watch 90s and 80s stuff now because I, don't want to watch woke stuff. And Baywatch, at least the first season. So far, I'm 6 episodes in, and the only one who's been running in slow motion has been David Hasselhoff. None of the others have. And
yes,
and it's fun. Every episode is like a mini 80s movie.
Yes, it's so much fun, and it's episodic television. There's some overarching stories, but not very many. And you get your 30-minute or 40-minute escapism, and you're done. But these same women who are like drooling over Jason Momoa and are shipping freaking Ray and Crybaby Sith wannabe not Ben Solo. God, what's his name? Kylo. Jeez, Raylos. There we go. You have these freaking Raylos who literally, like, I still can't believe this happened. The fact that he had to hide the fact that he had a newborn child with his wife because these women and some men, I guess, probably not near as many,
They doxed him. They and
they
his
were
wife.
so desperate for their fantasy to be reality.
Yeah.
That they wanted to kill his wife and child so he could be with Rey, whatever her real name is.
Yeah, Daisy Ridley.
Yeah, they wanted to kill Adam Driver's family so that he could go be with her in real life. That is how sadistic these people are.
And the old fans are the problem, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, the old fans are the issue. Oh my god. And they're like, well, Leia kissed her brother. And it's like, first of all, context. She was purposefully trying to make Han mad. Like, she was trying to get back at him because he riled her up.
And they didn't know they were siblings.
They didn't know they were siblings.
They don't look alike. Why would they even suspect? One's a princess, one's a farm boy.
Exactly.
From different planets.
From different planets. And, you know, it's just absolutely insane that they're going to take Han and Leia, for example. They're like, well, you had Han and Leia, and you're like, okay, but that was built up, like, that was almost, I wouldn't say like a friends enemies even. That was really just like, I have to deal with this person, or enemies to friends. That was like, I have to deal with this person. They're a means to an end. They don't really mean anything to me. To, hey, this guy is not so bad, or hey, this woman's actually pretty capable and can actually do this rebellion thing.
Yeah.
But it's
strong female that didn't exist, right?
Right, exactly. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
not before 2020.
And in the old Star Wars trilogy, Mon Mothma is the leader of the rebellion. She's a woman. She doesn't have many lines though, but still, there she is.
She doesn't need them. You know who she is, and she definitely had when she had a presence when she was on screen. You were like, oh, okay, clearly this is who we're answering to.
Yeah.
So you didn't need the over the top hair color and the dress and the condescending looks and the dismissive
shaved side of the head.
Yeah, like just stop it. Soul Assassin says Rails are the evolution of the Twilight fans. You know, I've brought this up before. It never made any sense to me. I get the gist of it afterwards, and so I can't wait for this because there's a love triangle in Twilight.
Yeah, between a vampire,
I remember
Kristen Stewart, and a wolf.
I remember it was team. It was like Team Wolf and Team Vampire. Like, I think it had their names on the shirts though. It was like Team so-and-so and Team so-and-so. And it was like who you were rooting for her to end up with, right?
They had that with the Star Wars trilogy. They had Team Kylo and Team Finn. Actually.
Oh, that's just why?
I don't know.
Like, she literally served zero purpose to that entire story. If she was not in that story, it would improve the story. I don't like her.
Same with Finn. You can remove all his scenes.
You could. They hyped him up to be something he 100% was not in the. He was supposed, like, they marketed him as the new Jedi apprentice, and they definitely did not deliver. They marketed that whole story on his back and then pissed on it.
Did I just hear the X-Files theme?
No, you didn't hear the X-Files theme. You heard that was something else.
Okay.
I promise. But I do love X-Files. But yes, I completely, like, Soul Assassin, I 100% agree with you. If, like, that's what we were getting back to before. I don't know if it's even so much a wine mom thing. I mean, I'm sure it definitely could be, but this feels like a wine aunt thing. You know, like the cool aunt who has no kids, but she's the aunt who has no kids and is now in her 50s and miserable and wants some kind of, she's trying to fill a void that her children should have filled. Oh, Miss Martin comes in with the save. Team Edward and Team Jacob.
Yeah, Edward is that's Robert Pattinson. He's the vampire.
Oh, so he's Sparkle Vamp Boy. All right, I'm by
Yeah.
default Team Jacob.
Jacob is the werewolf guy.
Crap. Can't she just date a human? Like, is she too good for normal people? That's what I'm getting here. That's what I'm getting.
I don't know.
Anyway, the second I noticed Chewie walk right past Leia after Han died, the sequel trilogy was off my DVD shelf so fast. A pity it took me until The Last Jedi to notice that scene. Yes. Oh my god, I was so angry at that scene. I was done.
You know what the thing was though? Leia was Rey's mom, so she was hugging her daughter. But then Rian Johnson screwed that whole thing up in The Last Jedi.
Yep.
Because every time Han Solo in The Force Awakens is asked about Rey, he starts talking and the scene cuts. It happens when he's talking to Leia about her and Maz Kanata. And the actress who plays Rey said that if you wanted to know who Rey's parents were, they're in episode 7, and it's obvious. That's what she said.
Yeah, she did.
Then they changed it.
Then they changed it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
she was supposed to be Rey Solo.
Yeah, I 100% clocked that she was supposed to be their child.
And you know what? On the concept art for Rey, for episode 7, the first concept art, it says Kira Solo.
Of course it does.
Mm-hmm.
Like these people, oh god, just consistency, people, consistency in storytelling.
Yeah. Just plan your trilogy before you film it.
Plan your freaking trilogy, yo.
All you have to do.
Good God, you're paid to do this. You're paid handsomely to do this.
Yeah, and Luke Skywalker was supposed to be a Jedi because he's dressed as a Jedi at the end of episode 7.
Yep.
You know, he's standing there in Jedi robes. Yep. And Han Solo earlier in the movie tells Rey that he hasn't seen Luke for a while, but he's heard stories about Luke. How could he have heard stories if he's been on that island for 13 years?
Yep. No, you know? We're not going to talk about Disney trilogy. Disney trilogy doesn't exist. So, it needs to burn in a deep, dark hole of singularity. Okay, really quick. Thank you everybody who donated. I just have a couple on the other side. I want to get to them super fast because we've been going for 2.5 hours. So I feel really bad. Here we go.
Do you feel that we covered the topic?
We still have like 6 hours left to go.
We were on the same page.
Yes. No, we're going to wrap up here.
This was a good chapter in your YouTube career.
Oh. This was a good chapter in your YouTube career because guys, guess what? Stig has a YouTube channel too. You should go sub to it.
No, don't do that.
Cal G for $3 says, "Here's some green for you just for being you. Now I'm gonna go hide so Mr. Gravemaster doesn't think I'm simping on his girl." Oh my god, thank you, Cal G. I promise he doesn't think you're simping on me. He appreciates it too. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate that you appreciate my weirdness. It means a lot. Raj Williams for 10 Canadian pesos says, "Some book covers are works of art. Others are like covers of Harlequin romance novels. Variety is the spice of life, and the spice must flow." Love these discussions. Oh my god, thank you, Raj. That's incredibly sweet. Yes, I agree. 100%. These book covers have gone off the rails, to say the very least.
Yeah, they've gone from like being 11 out of 10 to 1.
If that. Sometimes if I could give them 0 stars, I absolutely would. 100%.
I think the rating system is 1 to 5 keys, though.
Then the whole system needs to rust at the bottom of the ocean. We're not doing chess pieces or roses either. Oh my gosh. All right. So, and then Bastard for $5. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. The stream on book covers was so informative. Really great video, and I hate giving compliments. Oh, I know you do, Bastard. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Any donation you guys give, I really do. It means a lot. And I love you guys. You're awesome. Miss Martin. And then Miss Martin, I'm trying to be sweet. Miss Martin comes in with a key. What the hey did you ho, Miss Martin? Oh, Lord in heaven. Y'all are just being cruel now. That's just wrong. It's just so wrong. Lady G being held by Stig should be the cover as they stare into the sunset. That'd be interesting.
Hold me like you did on Naboo.
Hold me like you did on Naboo. I swear to God, do not drop keys and apples in my chat. Knock it off. I mean, I love you guys. If you want to drop emojis, go for it. But seriously. Take thine keys and go open thine own doors. They shall open nothing here, except spite. All right. So what we're going to do is I really want to... oh my God, now we're coming in here with chess pieces. Listen here, y'all. We're about to start a fight. I was going to try and be nice and show you guys something. It's really pretty. And I think it's a great way to end the stream. But no, I'm just kidding. I'll still do it. I would never give you guys ultimatums. Considering
I would.
You're sweet enough to be... yeah, Stig might, but I won't. Oh my God. It's a blindfold? It's not a... that wasn't a ribbon? That's a blindfold? So what? She's eclipsing her vision with a blindfold?
They're playing Find the Key.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
So I guess she's blindfolded and the apple is stuffed in her mouth. And the key is somewhere
Stig!
else.
She's not... oh my God. So, Miss Martin. No. Do not want. Hashtag do not want. Oh, okay. Red blindfolds is 50 Shades of Grey. Good to know. All right. So we have been talking about how... so here is the thing. What you see pushed in mainstream media, what we pointed out today, the clear downgrades in cover art specifically, where it went from very detailed, very specific, lots of passion and love put into it, to copy paste, generic, four different books that looked identical. And, you know, this gets pushed as what millennials specifically want, or Zoomers, Gen Zers are like, oh, this is what they want. They want that minimalistic nihilism type of setting. That is not true. I'm here to tell you, I am a millennial. That is not true. I have siblings who are Gen Zers. They don't want this either. Okay? It's terrible. It's lazy. We deserve better. Great storytelling has been around for centuries. That's how we as humans, that's how most of our human history survived, was storytelling.
Which one is a Gen Z?
They're the ones after millennials, after Gen Y.
No, they don't deserve anything.
Yes, they do. So there are good ones. I promise. I'm related to one. But you just... they are not spoken of because that's not what the mainstream media wants. They want consumers. They want, copy, paste, shade with a different cool color, whether that be midnight blue or twilight purple or whatever.
Every damn book needs a rainbow cover. That's going to happen.
And it's sad because there are those of us out here who we love storytelling. We love reading. We love history. Like these are all parts of our history. Yes, some of it is escapism and some, it's fantasy, it's uh sword and sword, whatever you want to call it. It's fiction, but it's still a part of us. It's still escapism. You can't live your life 100% in reality and seriousness, because that is how you become black-pilled and
The
miserable.
thing is, fantasy books, right?
Yes.
Even sci-fi and all, it's basically a vacation for the mind.
Exactly. You're giving your mind a break. But just like you can't live in it's just like you can't live in reality 24/7, 100% go 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 and not give your mind a break. You can't live in the fantasy 100% of the time either. You have to find balance. You have to strike that balance. And what's happening right now is there is no balance. Escapism has been invaded by so many terrible things. Not the least of which being activism and politics. Modern real world politics have invaded escapism, whether it be music, books, poetry, painting. It's everywhere.
The
And that's why
the
that's why morale is so low and people feel so beat down, because they have no escape. Everything has got messaging and symbolism and modern day, like, this is what we need, greater good, greater good, greater good, greater good. That's why they are redoing all of these old IPs, because they don't want
yeah
you to go back and find them. That's why they're taking Feist's Magician and they're making it look like every other YA book, because they don't want you to pick that up and go on that fantastic journey and go, wow, there's actually stuff out here that I really
the
love
the main
and is
problem
really
though
good.
is, if you look at Tolkien and Star Wars,
Uh-huh.
both of them by design were meant to be timeless. They were designed to be so. If you
Exactly.
put modern day stuff in them, you date them and
Yes.
they're no longer timeless. They're only relevant for some of the
That,
audience today.
yep, that is the lesson Amazon is about to learn. Relevance will become dust in the wind. You need to shoot for timelessness. And Amazon is going to try and be smarter than Jordan. And they're not. They're not better writers. They're not more clever with his characters. They're not better storytellers.
The
And
uh the
they're going
lead
to
writer,
try, huh?
in an interview last year said that his that's what it said. His
Yes.
vision for the Wheel of Time is that it should be as diverse as what he believes New York will be in 40 years. That's what he
Yep.
said.
That's what he said. That's not Jordan's vision, FYI. If that's a story you want to tell, go tell it, but tell it with your own IP, your own ideas, your own story.
Well,
Don't
here's the
hijack
problem
somebody
though.
else's.
Here's the
They
problem though.
can't.
In
Yeah.
order to create something, you have to be able to dream. If you're too
Mm-hmm.
woke, you can never dream.
Exactly. Oh, look at you,
Yeah.
wise Master Kenobi. Look at
Yeah.
you dishing out that advice. But it is so very true. But there are still what we're about to watch. I have found out that she is Gen Z. She's right at the cusp. She's an early Gen Z. She could sneak into millennial, like, if you really tried. But from what I understand, this is a Gen Z individual and she's extremely talented. And the first time that I saw this, I was actually concerned, because normally when I see these things, it does not turn out well. And I will say I was more than pleasantly surprised when I saw the outcome for this. So this is going to be kind of what we wrap up on. We'll do outros and stuff after this really quick. But this is a TikTok video that has been shared around. And I really think it deserves way more love, because it's far better than anything else I've seen come off of that crap site. So, here we go. She's going to show you a book. Lord of the Rings. So what she's doing, this is a homemade book press. You can, just like she's doing it, this keeps the pages nice and tight. This is where I got concerned because I was like, oh my god, what is she about to do? And then I was like, no. And then you get the reveal, and it slowly starts to finish. Look at this. Look at how beautiful that is. This is one of my favorite videos on this entire site. And she even did top page art. We used to get this. We used to get stuff like this. Page art was a thing. You used to that was how you knew it was going to be a truly epic book, is if not only did you have a front cover, a back cover, and a spine, but you had either golden, like oh gosh, not gilded, but what am I trying to think of, Stig? Where like the outside of the pages is gold. You know what I'm talking about?
The border?
Yeah. Like where she painted on it, they would actually be like gold or red. Like the outside of the pages where the page art was done would actually be a solid color. So they'd be like orange or gold or blue. And then you'd open up the book, the pages, and it would actually be just a normal page. But when you closed it, you'd see the different shades of colors on the outside of the book. And then like what she did, I've not seen page art like that. I've not seen book page art like that. In a long time. I didn't even think it was still a thing. I don't know. Like, have you seen? I know you've got the new Lord of the Rings book, right, Stig?
No, not the new one. I have the 50th anniversary thingy.
50th anniversary. Okay.
And weird thing, when I bought it, I think it cost less than $20 on Amazon when it came out. And this was probably in it was before 2010. Now though, they're selling it for $60 on Amazon, and I looked at a Norwegian site, big fantasy store thing. They were selling it for $160, and I'm like, I got it for less than 20. So the prices are going insane sometimes now.
Yeah, well, that's because people are desperate for good content. Okay, this one's kind of blurry, but this is Moby Dick. This is side book art of Moby Dick. So these are the pages. And so what happens is, yes, these are the inside covers, but when the outside covers close, the outside book covers are a solid color. And so that was another thing that people did. Like if you had a hardcover book, you would just put the title of the book, maybe in some fancy filigree, or you'd have a nice font. Or if it's a classic like Moby Dick, you wouldn't need anything on the cover because people know the story, but then you'd give them something extra like this on the pages of the book. So this very much used to be a thing.
Oh yeah.
And it was a sign of like a truly epic fantasy that you were about to take part in. And
also maps. Not every fantasy writer has maps now for some reason.
I know, and that irritates the ever-loving bejesus out of me.
Yes, like I want to see the map. Otherwise, I'm like, no. Give me a map.
Yes, and some people are like, oh, well, I just blow past it and go back to it if I get confused where I'm at. That's why it's there. Like, I'm not saying you have to be, like, you don't have to study the map, but for the love of all that is holy, like, if you are getting lost in, if you're trying to figure out exactly how long it would take your characters to travel the distance that they did or whatever, an author who has put in the time and the work and hopefully gotten professional help from a cartographer has got that to scale.
Yeah. Also, if one of the side characters, starts, revealing information about himself and says he's from I don't know, Shitville. I want to know where that is on the map.
Yes.
So I will look at the map and see, okay, there's where it's from, right? And you could just it's like a little process in itself,
Mm-hmm.
learning. Every time you get a bit of lore and stuff, you can usually find the origin of it on the map,
Yep.
and I just it's part of the experience for me. It always has been. I mean, I remember just sitting there looking at the Lord of the Rings maps. Usually they were fold out maps
Yes.
actually,
Because they were
and
huge.
yeah, and Terry Brooks had maps, Raymond Feist had maps,
They all had
Eddings.
maps. And I really appreciate like like in the Shinara books, they tell you who people are. Like, hey, this is god, now I can't think of anything, but they're like, this is so and so. This is their family, this is their lineage, or these are their ancestors. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of characters. And so it's nice to have that index to refer back to, that reference to go to when you're like, why is this person important, or who is this, or what in their lineage makes this matter? So if you pay attention, and any author worth their salt is going to put as much care into those aspects as the book itself, because those are meant to do what the novelization of movies is supposed to do, and that is to expand on your knowledge of the lore and your experience, your personal experience, and which characters you as a reader connect with.
Also, if there's
Maps
a
and sometimes a pronunciation guide. Yes.
yeah. Also, if there's a map in the book, for some reason that makes me think that the characters know what the world they're in looks like. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yes. It all helps build that suspension of disbelief, and it pulls you into the escapism even more.
Yeah, because the characters will be talking as if they have seen the map themselves.
Mm-hmm. Or they've
Which,
seen the places on the map themselves.
yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm.
So if what they say fits with the map, basically, it makes the world the story takes place in a bit more real.
Absolutely. Wandering Paladin for $5. Thank you, Wandering Paladin. Says escapism is bad. We are supposed to shut up, be a factory cog, and enjoy what the government allows us to enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they want.
And if
I
you read a
kind,
book, you're supposed to wear a mask.
that I am so done with all of this nonsense. I really am. I'm not a doctor. Consult your physician or whatever, but I'm pretty sure cutting off oxygen to your body is not healthy either. Just saying. Um, but yes, so that side page art that you saw, and even top and bottom art, used to very much be a thing, and it was usually a sign that the author truly cared about the content, because page art is extremely expensive and time consuming, and like, she painted that one book, I'll bet you it took her 2 weeks at least
Pro-
to paint.
Probably.
And now you're talking about trying to produce, like reproduce that art, which means you have to get this, like, think about how thin of a sheet of paper is, and now you have to get those specific colors perfect on every single one of those pages to try to recreate that if you were going to mass print it. People just do not take the time or the care that they used to anymore, and it's just devastating. You wish that it wasn't the case, but it's true. We as fans, as paying customers, we've become complacent. We have just accepted, we're like, oh well, this is as good as it's going to get, no point in complaining because it's not going to do any good. That's obviously not true, because the other people have been complaining, and they are a way small, tiny majority, like I'd say maybe 10% of the world population, and I'm being generous with that, would agree with what they have to say.
Yeah.
And 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 they're getting everything that they want simply because they've weaponized
Well, it's
they've
the
weaponized their tantrums.
I saw something that something about the the generation of the SJWs and what have you.
Yeah.
You know, they were the so-called daycare center generation.
Yeah.
They were put into daycare centers where 8 women had to look after 200 kids, and the only way those kids could get attention or get what they want was to throw a tantrum. You can see videos about this. It's
Mhm.
horrible to watch. So, and then they started getting participation trophies.
Yep.
So basically, they have been taught all through their lives that if you throw a
And
tantrum and scream
yep,
loud enough, you're going to get what you want.
you'll get what you want. My mother did not raise me like that. I went to daycare. I am a product of public schools and daycare. And I
Yeah.
promise you, that's not even close to how if I tried to pull that crap with my parents, I wouldn't be able to sit for a month. Who are we kidding? Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Same here. If you, and the other thing, if you threw a tantrum and stuff in school back then, the rest of your class would let you hear it too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Peer pressure, positive reinforcement from peer pressure is a thing. You just don't hear about it because the powers that be don't want anybody to realize that you can use peer pressure in a positive way and to make positive changes in people's lives. Because once you figure that out, they lose their weapon. And it's.
Yeah, the trick is to when they're in a room, 2 or 3 of you walk into the room, turn the lights off, and so they can't see. The person can't see, and then you hold your hand over their mouth, and you have socks with rocks in them, and beat them
Mm-hmm.
so they can't scream and see. And if you do that enough times, then the SJWs will go away.
Is that true? Do we need to start that?
Yes.
I'm just. I don't even know anymore. Like, I'm sure there's a simple fix, but
Yeah,
nobody ever wants.
it's lobotomy.
I'm sure there's a simple legal fix. No, but it it just means a lot to me that all of you guys were in the chat listening to Stig and I talk about this. It's something that I am actually pretty passionate about. I care a lot about storytelling and history and you know traditional storytelling can't we've seen what happens when you don't have traditional storytelling. You
Yeah.
don't get stories, you get propaganda. You don't get escapism, you get agenda.
Yeah, you get a
It's
lecture.
yeah, this is not okay and it needs to stop and it's going to stop. It has to stop with us because we're the
Yeah.
ones paying for it. We're the ones
The
who
reason it's not
ultimately
stopping is because
and if you're like, "Oh,
not
well
not enough not enough people
mhm,
have had the balls to tell them to F off.
pretty much." And you look at sort of stuff that came before and how interesting and gripping and fascinating it was.
Have you seen the art for the Dragonlance books?
Mm,
Just
yes.
Google Dragonlance novels.
Mhm.
You're gonna drool.
Oh, I love the Dragonlance novels. These are some of my favorite. I own all of them, all four. Autumn Twilight.
Oh,
Like,
there's
look
more
at
than
this.
four.
Oh,
There's
well, sorry,
close
of
to a
this,
hundred now.
yes, of these, like, I own, so I have the Autumn Twilight, Winter Night, um, Spring Dawning, and Summer Flame. There's, these are just absolutely breathtaking. Like, look at this.
Yeah, it just makes you want to
Mm.
read.
It does. Not a freaking key in sight.
Yeah, and these are not the best written books ever at all.
No,
They have fun characters, and
they do. Like, this is so
the
cool.
Yeah, look at this. This used to be the standard. I mean,
Yeah,
these
this would
books.
actually be considered. This was actually considered, like second tier cover artwork back in the day.
Yeah, yeah, and the
Simply
books as
because,
well
yeah, simply
were.
because if you look at the coloring, because we saw
Yeah,
like the Sword of Shinara, like this books that this book would have been up against,
yeah,
this would have been considered second tier, like because here you are again with the cool colors, but you still have your characters. They're clearly headed somewhere. They're leaving something behind, but like this is beautiful.
yeah. And these books were they're basically D&D novels, because
Yeah.
Dragonlance is one of the old D&D settings, and the novels were just written to promote it, I guess.
Mhm.
But so this is not Tolkien stuff.
No. Like, see, there
Oh,
you go,
that there's
Dungeons
from
and Dragons. Yeah, that's Dungeons and Dragons.
that's
That's Royal
yeah,
Lance.
that's one of the
Mhm.
comic book covers. Actually, they did graphic
Yep.
novels.
Here we go. Dragons of the Vanished Moon. This is the Dragonlance. This was the first one um that I picked up, this series, and then I got um the season ones, the autumn, winter, spring, and summer. These are enjoyable books. They're definitely not a Sanderson or a um Tolkien or anything like that, but they are still a really good time. And the cover art, the book cover work, the art is gorgeous. Um,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
breathtaking. But see, like you can
Leggett
tell these are
Legatus
these
in the chat says you need to click the original artwork, not the secondary reprints.
the reprints. Okay.
He
Well,
knows his stuff.
hey, I'm just saying, you can tell these books go together, but they don't look like that other set of books, like those other
No,
set of books that we were looking at, where you couldn't tell that that was four different books. You can tell
no.
these are different books, but they still clearly go together.
Plus,
Um,
there's scenes from the novels too.
yeah. So
The
what am I clicking
if you
on?
zoom
Here you
out
go.
a bit, well, that's a no comic.
Comic. Yep.
Yeah, if you I saw one.
Yeah.
You need to close the one that you're.
Okay. This one.
Uh, let's see, where did it go?
I don't
I
know.
need to get closer to the screen.
I wish I
Um,
could. I wish I could zoom it in more. Is it this one?
no, it was further down. These are the original. Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's such a small picture though. It gets pixelated. But yeah, it was further down, even more further down, I think.
Further, further. Going down. Descending the steps.
Oh, there it is. The second row from the bottom, second one on the right.
That one.
Yeah, that's one of the
Ah,
original covers. Look at that. Larry Elmore, I believe, did this.
I like
Look
it.
at this. Awesome.
I want to read it. And I've read it. Like,
Yeah.
look at that. It's beautiful. It's Gadfly, you're not wrong. Terry Pratchett covers are usually spot on as well. But this is just, this was somewhat of a nostalgia stream, but also just kind of a wake up stream that
Yeah.
this is what we have allowed. We as the customer have
Yeah.
allowed them to slip into this kind of complacency. We've accepted, whether it's because, oh, my niece loves this, or my sister really likes it, so I'm going to get it for her. Whatever it is that you're doing, please just shut your wallet. It's
Would
not worth it. We
would you
we have we
agree
are we are what
if I
has
sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Would you agree if I said that convenience has made us complacent.
Yes, absolutely. At a click of a button. I mean,
Yeah.
this is like this is what we've allowed. This is copy, paste, change some muted tones. Like there's no color to any of these. And you're like, "Oh, well here it's like green and purple. They have contrasting colors." Guys, you've got to stop justifying your this type of thing. I'm not knocking the artist. Understand this. The artist was given a job and the artist completed the job. The problem is that this is the kind of stuff that publishing companies are pushing nowadays. This is the fad or the trend. And last week in my nostalgia stream for the beginning when we were talking about this, we actually had someone, I forget who it was. They pointed out that they're actually studying this stuff. And this is the style being pushed. So you have to specifically ask for something different. And for the love of God, please ask for something different. Go out, hire a talented freelance author and do your own thing. Like let it stand out, let their artwork stand out and let your story stand out because this stuff is going nowhere fast. Nobody is going to remember this stuff in 100 years. Think about
Like
what Tolkien
5
went through.
years.
5 years. Think about the impact that Tolkien's story has had on generations in like around the world. His books have been translated into over 30 languages and the only book that outsells Lord of the Rings is the Bible.
Yeah.
Like that should tell you something. This is what we are witnessing is the quiet it's not even a war of attrition. We are simply allowing by not refusing or by not speaking up against or not sticking with our convictions because they're like, "Oh, well you're just a bully and you don't appreciate art and how dare you say that about the artist?" That is not what's being done here. What's being done here is pointing out the hypocrisy and the unfairness to the reader when you give them copy and pasted drivel like this. This is what we have. I am guilty of it too. Yes, I sit here and say that I dislike it. And no, I don't buy these books for anyone. Not myself, not my siblings, not my cousin, nobody. I don't buy these books for anyone, even if they say they like these books. And then I ask them why. And you know, probably 7 out of 10 times what my answer is? They're a quick read. They're just an after, like, I can spend 4 hours and I'm done. They're just a fast, easy read. I can dream about, like, and I had, feminism is such a damn lie. So many women are so lonely, whether they be in their 20s or in their 50s. Feminism had made women miserable and lonely, and these women are dreaming of men who
Stalking them.
Yeah, but they're dreaming of men in pages when there are, I can vouch for this because I have one, when there are far better men in real life who can do so much more for you and with you. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have like a fantasy guy or enjoy reading romance or fantasy romance or whatever it is. Because again, it's a type of escapism. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is when your whole idea of a relationship revolves around a fictional character in a book or a movie or a TV show, you have problems that you need to address. Because this is not real life. These characters are not going to jump off the page and walk into the coffee shop that you're working at or the cubicle that you're sitting at all day. That's not going to happen. And the longer you try to cling to the idea that it is possible, the more miserable you're going to be in real life. Yes, it's great to have a fantasy guy, to have like an escapism. A werewolf is not going to come bounding into the office and then a hunter's going to show up and slay it in front of you and the two of you are going to fall in love. Like, that sounds like a good romance story, you know, big strong hunter kills evil werewolf and girl sees guy impresses girl, guy and girl fall in love. That sounds pretty typical, right? But if that's what you're if that's what you're expecting to have happen in your real life, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And the idea of fantasy is to give you that escapism just for a little while, and then you go back and you're like, man, I do actually have a pretty good life. If your life is so bad that you can't find happiness anywhere or love anywhere outside of the pages of these books, you need to surround
you're
yourself
the
with,
problem.
yeah, you need to surround yourself with different people. You
Or people.
need to, huh?
Or people in general.
Yeah, or just people in general. You need to take the step to make the change in your life, because what none of these books tell you is, especially with the way the world is today, nobody's coming to, like, outside of Christ, who's already, been here and is coming back again someday, but like, nobody's coming to save you. Superman is not swooping down from a building to rescue you from hitting concrete. There's no hunter that's going to jump out with a spear at a lunging wolf. Like, it's not going to happen. And please, for the love of God, don't put yourself in dangerous situations, hoping that a guy is going to prove himself to you or is going to magically appear. I have no idea why women, like, I've known women and girls who do that. They purposefully put themselves in a dangerous situation or in harm's way so that the guy that they like or think that likes them but just hasn't, like, figured it out yet. Oh my God, it drives me insane. But hasn't, like, figured it out yet. Oh, if I'm in this situation and he has to save me, then he'll realize that he really does love me when it goes through this.
You know what, though?
Phew.
If a guy actually saves a woman, he could get
gets
sued for having touched her, or
Yeah.
they'll harass him for having done something sexist later on.
Yes.
Because
This is the
lady
world we live in.
didn't
Feminism.
specifically ask to be saved, or what have you.
Or you weren't the guy that was supposed to save her. She was waiting for somebody else to save. Like, if you're hanging off a bridge and it's not the Prince Charming you were hoping for that pulls you up from said bridge, who cares? You are hanging from a bridge. Like, it's death or take this dude's hand. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
This is the situation we have landed ourselves in. Feminism has simultaneously cleaved you from, or has attempted to cleave women away from the idea that a loyal, dedicated companion who provides for you maybe he's not the most, maybe he can't leap tall buildings in a single bound or chop down sequoias with one swing of his axe like Paul Bunyan, but he's there for you. He's committed to you. He's not going to cheat on you. There's no drama. He'll be there to protect you if needed, but he protects you. Like, that's the thing too. These books, they put the characters in supernatural situations for a reason. But when was the last time you saw a guy being championed for, working two jobs, or for not letting the mortgage lapse, or for just being there for you when you need time alone or time with him, or you want to watch a sappy love movie for the millionth time and he just lets you lay on his arm while it falls asleep? Like, are these things heroic? No, not in the sense that we think of where they go and slay dragons.
Oh, it's the patriarchy now, because that's the man enslaving the woman by letting her watch her movie and sleep on his lap.
Yeah, I don't give two craps. Stay away from feminism and intersectionalism and all these other isms, all right? It's terrible for you. It's bad for your mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional health. Just stay away from all that crap. It's ridiculous what they try to sell you. They have, like I said, they've simultaneously made you lonely, miserable, and bitter, and then have got you blaming other people for why you're lonely, miserable, and bitter when it was completely your decision. And just wow. It's just unnecessary, the amount of hate and misandry
Well,
that's going on right now.
here's the thing though. Uh, there's a pattern to it. It's human beings are now split, between gender, between sexuality, between race, and
Yeah, it's
and left and right politics, and now they're doing the same with pop culture. People are being split in half there too, because that was the universal stuff was something the whole world rallied
absolutely.
around. Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Star Trek, what have you. Everything is we're basically being split up
Yes, they
all
need to
over the
tear those
place.
pillars down so that they need to
No,
tear those down
it's divide
because
and conquer.
yeah, they what good escapism does, what timeless
Yeah.
storytelling does. I've said this before. It transcends physical boundaries. You're now connecting with someone else on a soulful level. Like, hey, I read Lord of the Rings and this was my favorite character and this is why and this scene hit me like this. And then you're like, "Oh my gosh, I've read Lord of the Rings and the Fellowship of the Ring and this is the scene that I loved the most and this is my favorite character and this is why and let's talk about this and let's expand on the lore and let's just dive into Lord of the Rings and talk about it." And you could be from completely opposite sides of the world and it didn't matter because you found that thread of humanity that linked both of you. That's what these do. That is what music and storytelling and food, that's what all of these things do. And that's why they're like, a white man can't own an Asian restaurant. Or you shouldn't order Chinese food or you shouldn't order Japanese food in Japanese. Well, I was born and raised there for 8 years of my life. I speak fluent Japanese. It doesn't matter. It's cultural appropriation. No, it's not. Sharing languages, sharing food, sharing music, clothing, stories. This is what bonds us together. So that's what they have to destroy. Miss
Yeah, I
Martin not
mean,
missing a beat with chocolate.
they're actually even splitting people when it comes to food, because
Yeah,
you're now a monster if you eat meat.
that's what I'm
So
saying.
it's being split absolutely everywhere. I mean, even the
Yes.
vaccines, they're using that too to split people.
It's yeah, all of this is just beyond insanity. So guys, if I
Oh, she had to split too. Now we got split. See, I was right. Anyway, well, there she is.
yep, had to make a dramatic exit and all. Um sorry. I hit the red X.
Oh,
My bad. Um but uh yeah, if you this we'll sum this up because we've been going for 3+ hours now. So
oh shit. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like 5 in the morning here
I
now.
know. I was just thinking about how late it is for you, Stig. I'm so sorry. Um,
No, no, it's okay.
but
Been having fun, so it's all good.
yeah, I put on the one wrong. Like not even the one ring, just the one wrong. Like I put on the wrong one. Um, yay, I've officially graduated. Um, no, but this is what we have allowed. And by continuing to accept this and not pushing back, whether that be supporting independent artists or self-publishing authors. Like I said, I'm gonna try and talk to my friend. She's her problem is, and I can't say that it's really a problem, but she's still very much of the institutional mindset. A lot of my friends are. They're like, well, the publishing houses know what people want and what's popular and what's selling. So if they don't like it, then obviously it doesn't stand a chance on its own, which is not the case. People are desperate for good storytelling, something new, something refreshing, something they've maybe not heard of before. There's tons of stuff to go back to. Sarah Douglas, Terry Brooks,
Yeah,
Brandon
piles of people.
Sanderson. Yeah, like there's amazing Terry Pratchett. There's amazing stuff to go back to. You just
Yeah,
have to be willing to look for it.
yeah. Just
And
every time something even smells like woke, don't give it your money. Go
no.
back and pick up something older that is proven quality instead. You're
Mhm.
gonna have a lot more fun.
Absolutely. And you guys deserve it. Like, this is not only are you giving, this is why I am shocked at how companies are currently behaving. Because not only are you giving these companies the investment of your money, you're giving these authors the investment of your time. Some of these novels are 1,000 pages long. That can take anyone somewhere between 2.5 days to 2.5 weeks to finish, depending on how focused you are, how good the book is, how much it pulls you in, how much free time you have to offer. So the this isn't this is your time. This is your money. You have worked for this. And I'm not saying that these authors or these actresses or these actors owe us something. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they are in our debt and they should be grateful that we've given them the
No,
time of day because we made them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that without a fan base, like worldwide best-selling phenomenon, whatever, novels don't exist.
people need to stop. And this is a bad habit. They're like, watching this and that, and then they're complaining, "Oh, this is woke, it's ruined, blah blah blah." And then when the next product comes out, right? They're like, "Oh, I'll watch this then. Maybe it's good this time." I'm like, you just financed the
Mm-hmm.
next line of shit, and then you're gonna complain about it, and then you're gonna finance the next one.
Yeah, it's about to be me with Wheel of
Yeah,
Time,
yeah.
but
Just
but
don't give the money.
well, Amazon already has the money. So,
Yeah, well, if you're already paying for Amazon Prime or whatever, then
yeah.
you know. But
Well, it's technically my father-in-law's, but yeah. Like it's already
yeah,
paid for.
but still, don't give the money if you want it to go away. You know,
Mhm.
just don't pay for it.
Yeah,
That's
but
all people have to do.
this is 100% true and I'm about to
I
be a
mean,
hypocrite when it comes to Wheel of Time just because holy crap. You don't think it could be worse than Shinara though.
yes,
Do you?
it could.
You think?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. That was pretty freaking terrible.
Oh, this is gonna be some woke shit.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Well, um
Wheel of Woke.
it's gonna be into the Wheel of Woke, ain't that the truth? Oh my god, the Waygates. Did you see what they did to the Waygates?
Yeah, they looked like.
Waygates are supposed to blend into nature, by the way. That's why they got lost. And so
Yeah,
if that giant stone whatever is supposed to be a Waygate, they have 100,000% screwed this up already on just their promotional material.
well, it looks like Moraine is heading to the Two Rivers to find Egwene and Nynaeve.
Oh god,
And
help
I
me.
bet you at least one of them is going to be a lesbian.
You know,
You know what? I'm going to call it now. Elaine and Egwene. They're going to merge what was Gawain and Elaine into
no.
one person, and
No.
Elaine is going to be Egwene's love interest instead of Gawain. Calling it now.
God, I hate how right you probably are. Just go, like, if that's what you want, this stuff exists. There's markets out there for this stuff. So go make it for that market and stop trying to give it to everybody else who doesn't want it. I'm not saying that stuff is bad. I'm saying when you shove it into everything, you're going to be met with the exact opposite reaction that you're hoping for. Just tell good stories. Okay. Here we go. Ready? Shooting guns is not a personality.
No.
Being gay is not a personality. Being straight is not a personality.
Nope.
These are not personality traits. A personality is, are they funny? Clearly Lady Gravemaster is not intentionally funny. And most of Stig's jokes went right over my head. So clearly I'm not as witty as I thought I was. But like, how do you handle stress? How do you handle strife? How do you handle victory? What kind of person are you when someone comes to you for help? What kind of person are you when it's someone coming to you for help that you once went to help with and they refuse to help you? So it is a very complex situation of how you react to certain things, your lack of reaction to certain things, what intrigues you, what bores you, what makes you smile, what makes you cry. All of these things build up around parts of you, and then you get to the core of who you actually are. And you barrel down to find that one kernel of truth to know that no matter what goes on around you, this one thing will not change. This one thing, whether it's eternal hope, love, anger, evil, strife, whatever that kernel that you find when you tear away all of the layers and you find out that you're not a hero, that you are prideful, that you're not as clean as you thought you were, whatever it may be, when you figure out who you actually are, that is a very big deal. It's not all of this surface crap. It's not. And the fact that it's being treated like it is just shows how shallow we've gone in writing. Rather than dealing with the fallout, good or bad, from your choices and your decisions. And if there was, in life, you're never going to make the perfect decision. There is hardly ever a time where you're going to get out of war, for example, without somebody dying. Someone's going to die.
You know what it looks like now, though? The with the new generation and all, with all the pronouns and safe spaces, and you could easily just look at TikTok at a lot of these people, and you can see that, this person has a personality disorder of some sort,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
it's being championed rather than helped.
Yeah. It's like these people have confused the character generator in an RPG with being a person.
Yes.
They're just checking I literally saw someone on Twitter who claimed to be what was it, a space river nymph lesbian, because that's how that person felt, so it must be so.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that this is probably a good place to end it on. We've been going for almost exactly 3.5 hours. Stig, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Chat, you have all been amazing per usual. I love you guys. Clearly, this is a topic that matters a lot to me and to Stig, and clearly you guys, but this is stuff that you can watch out for. You can go out and find these classic covers and purchase them. You
Get
can
them on eBay.
Yeah, get them on eBay. Make some noise when you find them. Really boost up these talented and beautiful old covers. And if you can find page art on your book, oh my God, please shout that out.
Yeah.
Like, this is stuff that really matters, because if we are going to be complacent and allowed and are allowing mediocrity, that is all we're going to get. They're only going to give us what we demand of them. And I don't mean when we're outside with pitchforks and torches screaming for whatever. I mean, if they come to us with something that looks like this, you say, no, I don't want that. The title of this is Iron Bones. I want to see something that has to do with that. When you say Iron Bones, what do you mean? Like, paint me a picture. Does
It
this mean
actually sounds like Iron Bones. Sounds like an ad for Viagra.
oh my god, Stig, you would go there.
I
But
did.
you did. But, you know, just reject these copy paste covers. It really is that simple. Go out and find these old covers, these beautiful covers, these fantastic stories, and really show it some love and really shout it out and bring other people with you.
Yeah.
That's
If you
what
buy a cool book, post a picture of it on Twitter.
absolutely 100% do that. And continue to shout out the beauty, because far too much has this, especially on social media, has this become a freak show circus where we enjoy pointing out the hideous or the grotesque or the disgusting. And yes, that stuff needs to be found and shamed, but you need to shout out the beauty as well. Because you can't, it's just like we were talking about with fantasy and reality. You can't live in one or the other for eternity. You have to find that balance. It's the same thing here. Find the good stories, find the beautiful artwork, put in the extra money, go back campaigns or find independent authors who are telling a story that you really want to hear or be a part of. And I think Miss Martin, this quote sums it up pretty nicely. It's about knowing the difference between entertainment and reality. We need entertainment to get a break from our reality. And we need reality to not allow entertainment to suck us in and become consumers. You have to find that balance. You have to find that strike that chord within yourself. And go on adventures. And especially right now, you can go anywhere with these books. You can go to different times, different lands, go on different adventures, enjoy different love stories. Just don't get lost in them. But this is something definitely not only worth fighting for, but worth protecting once you have it. That's the other problem. I think, Stig, you could probably agree with me, is that it's not so much, it's a problem that once we get where we want to be, we don't maintain it. We're like, okay, we're here. And then we just expect it to stay the way it is. And we don't maintain those standards.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's something to keep in mind as well. Stig, why don't you go ahead and do your outro so you can get like 20 minutes of sleep? And
well, there's
what do you got coming
not
up?
much
Where can we talk? Where can we find you?
actually nothing, because the coffee chat is canceled today. So I'm not doing that, and Mara is not doing her Friday stream, so I was supposed to be on both of those. So
Sad
I've
day.
got nothing until Miss Martin Muse's Lord of the Rings talk on Saturday.
On Saturday, which
Yeah.
I will try to make. I cannot
Yeah,
promise, but I will
we're
try.
In the middle of the Two Towers.
Yes, we are. Well, when I left, I think we were only like 4 chapters in. But yes, T to T. T. I'm just saying, like, I love that. Trip T. But that is on Saturdays. Saturday mornings over on Miss Martin Muse's channel. It is a fantastic time. She is wonderful. She's a beautiful hostess. It's always so much fun. I go off on many tangents, and they always reel me back in, specifically Stig in the private chat yelling at me saying, come back. But it's
No,
all
I
good.
say stop yapping and shut up.
Yes, shut up. Bring it back to the topic. Like, I'm trying.
Yep.
Yes, Battles of Helm's Deep. That's my favorite part of the book. Oh my gosh, I need to be there. I gotta try. But I also have to figure out. Okay, so I have this stream today. Tomorrow, I have my Back to the Future stream. Friday, there should be a video. And I have to watch Wheel of Time. And it's Friday Night Tights.
Oh,
And
you and I have something coming up later on too.
yes, we do.
But it's a secret.
It is a secret, but you guys are going to like it. I promise. See, that's why I think I have to do my Twilight watch-a-thon this weekend, because otherwise we'd have to wait till next month to do this, to start the super secret thing.
Yeah, if you let Twilight screw it up, I'll never forgive you. If it's the Lord of the Rings extended versions or something, then it's fine.
Then it's fine.
Yeah, but
okay.
if it's Twilight, then no.
I will figure out the Twilight thing. The Twilight thing will either be Saturday or Sunday, depending on how much sanity I have left after Wheel of Time. But expect a review after Wheel of Time. I should have a different video out Friday morning about Wheel of Time. Then it's Friday Night Tights, and I think Razor Fist is the guest this Friday. Saturday, I will try to be on Miss Martin Muse's channel, Battle of Helm's Deep, abso-freaking-lutely. And then, yeah, I need to get some people to like live watch this with me. I don't know if I can do this on my own. Maybe we'll just do like 1 or 2 videos, because that sounds yike-a-roonies. Yes, Legion, you're gonna get a ton of me. So you have me today. You're gonna get me tomorrow with Back to the Future. Friday, I should have a video, and I'll be watching Wheel of Time and doing a reaction stream after, like a live stream afterwards. Plus, there's FNT, and then Saturday, I will either be on Miss Martin Muse's channel and or doing Twilight, assuming I have any sanity left. That might be a Sunday thing. And then I should have videos starting to drop next week as well. So yeah, lots of stuff going on over here. And then Stig and I have a secret project that we're working on. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And you'll hold my hand, Miss Martin. Okay. I'm just saying. The chat has got me, like, I've mocked these things because there's literally a sparkly vampire in the previews. Okay? But some of you guys up in this chat have got me really worried for these movies. I am not gonna lie. I don't think I don't know if I'm ready. I'm fine. It'll be fine. Don't fall off the wagon. I was never on the wagon, but I get what you did there. I see what you did there. Very clever. Very funny. Very clever. If anything, I'll just go on like a 6-mile run and try and burn it out of my system, because God help me, but adrenaline is good stuff. It'll get a lot of crap out of your system just to get out and run. But I don't think I have anything else on the donation side. Thank you to everybody who sent messages. I got all of you. I genuinely appreciate it. You all are freaking fantastic. I hope that this stream was worth it and you guys got a lot of value out of it. Tomorrow is going to be nothing but love. It's going to be Back to the Future nostalgic Nirvana. And I'm really looking forward to this one. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And Green Lion, what are you doing to me? There are things way worse than a sparkly vamp. I don't think it can get worse than a sparkly vampire. But you guys, I mean, you're why I'm here. This is amazing. I appreciate all of you. Anybody that's ever, helped me out in one way or another, whether it was a comment on YouTube or if it was on Twitter or Instagram, wherever it was, or if you found me here organically, which is a miracle in and of itself. I'm truly, truly humbled and truly thankful for every single one of you. I hope that I can keep giving you something worth coming back to. I don't have a fancy outro tonight, so I just want to say thanks once again. We've been going at it for 3 hours and 35 minutes, and I think that'll do, folks. Have a good one.